monster inside of me. You better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me. And he gets claws real big, gets off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the score, never getting bored. Loves the blood and gore, always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really listen until they feel it for their heart in. If you start shit, you be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you left scars ripped. You be chewed up and discarded.
And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. There's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. When there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate.
every minute with the fever dreams. I push a mind to a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sorrow with the painful scenes. I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python. Grab what I like real fast, stroke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it. I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to My Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick. Let's get this show started. Hope everyone is having a good day. Like I named the show, Midweek Madness. It's been a crazy day today. A lot of news for us to watch today. I had a very busy day. Went to a chiropractor today. He really worked on my back. I was like, oh my God. And tomorrow I have another appointment with the chiropractor, and I'm like, oh no, back-to-back days. It's like I'm torturing myself. But at least I got some good news. I already got my schedule for my MRI for my knee. They're actually, my appointment's on February 18th. But they said if they have an opening that opens up before then, they're going to move me into that slot. But for right now, I'm scheduled for a February 18th MRI on my left knee. Hopefully, we could get that done quick. If I need to, I know I'm going to need to have surgery. I don't know when I will schedule the surgery for, because I really want to go to my niece's birthday down in Florida. But if I have knee surgery before May, I'm not going to be able to go to Florida, just because I'm going to that takes a long time to recuperate. It takes anywhere between 6 to 8 months to recuperate. So, and to recover from that type of surgeries, I'm probably going to, well, most likely I will be having. So if I was to go, I would like to go to the birthday party first before I do surgery. I would like to push the surgery sometime in the middle of May. That'll be okay for me to just do that and then recover during the summer. It's going to be very painful, but it is what it is. But I got some shows for us to watch, and I just want to go right to it. First one we're going to watch is Melody King. She had a video put up, and I want to look at it, and you guys are going to watch with me. So here we go.
So in Luke 21, Jesus commands us to look at the signs of his return in the sun, moon, and stars, that we are to look up. And guys, I have shown you the orbs. I've shown you some strange things. I have so much more to get into. In fact, my high-powered P1000 Nikon P1000 camera will be here tomorrow. So I will be setting that up and getting a lot of great footage for you. But I want you to take a look at what's been going on with the moon. I noticed this, I want to say 3 days ago. Well, right before the storm, like the night before the storm, and the moon was like upside down, then it was fading in and out, and there weren't really any clouds around. It was very strange. But the reason why I want to talk about this specifically is because we are commanded to. And a lot of people, I think we miss that. I don't think we pay attention to it, or it's spooky pooky, or it's weirdo, or it's tenfold. But if Jesus himself told us to do it, I think that's what we should be doing. And the reason for it as well is because they want us to think everything is AI. They want us to think everything is fake. They want us to think that everything is Project Bluebeam. They don't want us to recognize what God is doing versus what they're doing. And for us to always assume it's something else. They always come up with some explanation for these things, but never have happened before. But then suddenly you get enough of them saying it. Well, oh, okay, yeah.
Hey, what's
they
up,
just
Albie?
add new
What's
facts,
up,
new
Chloe?
science, new
Have a
everything.
good night, Dashin.
Nearly at a daily pace at this point, just to explain away whether things that they are doing, things that are false, things that are fake, or things that are actual signs and wonders, because they want us distracted and always looking down. But in Luke 21, Jesus specifically tells us to keep our heads and our eyes up. So take a look at this.
Look, the Bible says the end times will be marked by signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. And tell me how the moon is doing this. Now, I went out last night and the moon looked like this, with the crescent on the bottom. See here, the bottom, phases of the moon, like we all learned in school, right? Where it comes from the side and disappears from one side to the other. That's what I always remember in astronomy class and, science class. That looks right in how I remember it over the last decades of my life. And then today it was out in the middle of the day and it looked like this. So how does it go from looking like this to then looking like this?
Yeah, it's weird.
It doesn't make sense to me. And I know there's people out there that are going to say, well, that's just normal. It's the globalist axis of... I don't care. I don't care. That's not normal. I don't care. It's not normal. Come on, guys. Don't you remember how the moon was supposed to look? All the phases that we all grew accustomed to?
Mm-hmm.
That looks right. Looks normal. But the Bible says there'll be signs in the moon and in the sun. So, that makes sense. So I got curious and I asked ChatGPT, could the moon go from a boat-shaped one night to having the illuminated part on top in 12 hours while being out during the day? And ChatGPT said, wow, that's an interesting question. And the short answer is no, it cannot do that. It can't flip in 12 hours. And it gives a longer reason here as to why it takes longer for the crescent to rotate, and direction of the crescent changes depending on your location and time of day, but the moon itself doesn't change. All these reasons. But yet, it happened last night, today. So I don't know. If anyone else is in California, did you see this last night and today? Did you look at the moon? Do you have any pictures of it? It's crazy. I mean, that's what I saw. I don't know how to explain it other than signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. The end times.
I don't know if it's weird or not, but I just noticed that the moon is rising in the west instead of rising in the east.
Yeah, it's weird.
In Houston, Texas. It's about 8:17 p.m. and that is the moon. I'm right here off of Northdale and Belfort on the south side, South Park. What up? But that's the moon right there, and it's rising in the west instead of rising in the east. It's very strange. Let me know what y'all think.
It's very
Now,
strange.
what's crazy with this one, it's not just the shape, but where the moon is sitting, and it is sitting below the horizon.
Somebody explain to me why this moon right here is below the horizon.
Please can someone help explain how on this flight the moon is below the horizon?
Is it a moon? I don't know. That doesn't look like a moon. Is it a moon? Oh, that looks weird.
Horizon.
That truly does not look like a moon. I'm just saying, that doesn't look like a moon.
So not only that, but the moon is moving unusually fast. I have seen this as well. I'm telling you, if you look up enough like I do, pretty much every day, on a day, at night, I am looking up always because I don't want to miss a sign or wonder. Sorry, there's a dog. A sign or wonder. And this is what I've seen as well.
My son started screaming, the moon is moving. I thought he was lying. I went outside and saw this. Has anybody else experiencing this where you are? I'm in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's
Anybody
been
else
moving.
seeing the
I
moon
noticed
and the
that
stars
too.
actually
It's not supposed to do
moving?
that
No, baby,
like
it ain't
that.
moving. Ain't
That's a
this
little
cloud.
bit
This
too
is the
fast.
moon. Let me know if you're seeing this where you're from and drop where you're from if you see this. Your city and your state. Good God Almighty.
Because that's not a star. That is an orb.
Mhm.
The same ones that I have been seeing.
I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life. Am I missing something?
Yeah, that's crazy. It looks like a spotlight.
Y'all ain't praying. Y'all need to be praying. I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Nope.
Never
That's
seen
too
nothing.
fast. Anyways, for a moon,
It's really going. Like it's
that's too fast.
Put the phone there. Oh, I want y'all to see. And go out in the front.
That's not a moon.
Go out in the front.
That's an orb.
There
That's
you
not a.
see it. And you don't.
That's crazy.
It's gone, honey.
Mm-mm.
There you go.
Now, also, along with this, people are seeing a blood moon in random places in different nights, and it makes no sense for there to be a blood moon.
Oh yeah. That's not the moon. Yes, that's planet Nibiru, bro. That's planet Nibiru. That's not the moon. It's not the sun. That's planet Nibiru. We're fucked.
Now, I could do a whole video just on the sun and the anomalies that people are seeing, but here goes one.
Man, I'm at work again. Now I'm heading west. Damn, look, there's two suns out. There's two suns. I know one of those ain't the moon. I know one of them is not the moon going down and the sun rising. So what's going on? I'm freaking out. Is the world coming to an end? Am I uneducated? Am I heading east? Am I heading west? What the hell? What's going on? Fuck it. Time to get back to work.
What the heck?
Two moons.
Where?
Crazy, right?
Yeah,
Just keep videoing it and then turn around at sunset. Look how pretty it is over there. Now zoom in over there.
Yeah, I don't think that was supposed to be there.
All right, guys, I'm 44 years old. Never in my life when I grew up did I hear about a upside down smiley face crescent moon. We always learned about a side facing crescent moon. Kids never grew a upside down smiley face for their moon. What is going on here? When did this start happening?
Now, I want you to pay attention to the picture here. Hopefully you can see it well. Look at how the moon has been depicted on ancient carvings. Many believe that were left by Nephilim before the great flood. What does the Bible tell us? That the last days will be like the days before Noah, before the flood. And we are seeing this with the things that are happening in the sun, moon, stars, and the sky overall. So I thought I would bring this here to give you that information to let you know of the activity. We're called to be watchmen, looking out for these signs. And just okay, I think a lot of people may not know where to find them, or they don't come up on your search, or is this something you're not thinking about? But I want to make sure that I'm putting this information out here because Jesus Christ is returning soon. So with that, I will see you guys on the next one.
All right, let's keep it moving because we got a lot to watch.
Good afternoon. Thank you for watching Fox Weather. Right now it is 4 o'clock in the east, 1 in the west. I'm Jane Minar in for Ian Oliver, and this is Fox Weather Now. We've got a looming nor'easter that is set to impact this weekend. Look at this bomb cyclone. Yes, we're talking a deepening area of low pressure that is going to bring with it intense wind, intense wave energy, and the risk of coastal flooding from the Mid-Atlantic, perhaps
I need a break.
New England. But there's still a lot that we don't know at this time frame, which, by the way, is not uncommon, right? We are still a good 3+ days out from seeing this storm really begin to evolve. But for the Carolinas, we have growing confidence here that major snow is expected to move in, and we are expecting to see, I think, a pretty significant coastal flooding threat across parts of the Carolinas' Outer Banks. A little farther up the coast, Baltimore, Maryland, look at the icing over of the Potomac. And then as we continue north on the I-95 corridor, New York City, that's where things start to get a little gray in what we are going to see happen. But in the Carolinas, we could see hurricane season. At least 16 oceanfront homes collapsed last year as high winds and rough seas battered the coast. This from a series of hurricanes, powerful storms that
I don't know why they built this so close to the beach like that.
Energy impacting these vulnerable
Like, why did they
structures.
move
We
these
watched this in real
homes?
time, right? And so the message here is that when we covered that as a top headline for weeks on Fox Weather through the end of the summer into the beginning of fall, that was not just a hurricane season story. In fact, it's a coastal story that lingers all year long and can once again be heightened with the threat of nor'easters. And we have that very threat unfolding as we head into Saturday and Sunday. This area of low pressure expected to rapidly strengthen off the mid-Atlantic coast. With that, it's going to spread snow, it's going to spread wind and coastal impacts along the eastern shores of the Carolinas and up into parts of the Delmarva. Confidence for our northeast impacts. They do remain low at this point in time, and it has a lot to do with ultimately where this area of low pressure, where our storm tracks as it works its way up to the northeast. But let's zero in on what we do know. The mid-Atlantic threats. Powerful low expected to form just a stone's throw away from the Outer Banks. We're talking probably about 50 to 100 miles, if not just a touch more than that away. Very different from the hundreds of miles away our hurricanes were, and we saw the impact of that, right? So snow and wind, that's expected to start on Saturday, and depending on where the placement of this low ultimately sets up, that's going to give us an indication of where those heavy snow bands are going to arrive. And it looks like it's going to be somewhere close to the I-95 corridor, Raleigh, and then we take it east. But we talk about the risk of weather impact, right? Well, the minor impacts, a few inconveniences, maybe a couple slowdowns and delays, that's pretty widespread for the Eastern Carolinas up into the Delmarva, Washington, D.C., even on the cusp of seeing some minor impacts. Now, you see here, this is our scale of coloring, unlikely to high, and we're still kind of on the low impact for the major interstates westbound. Where we are expecting to see high impact for at least minor to moderate inconveniences and impacts will be the coastal plain, really through the sand hills of North Carolina, Kill Devil Hills, Cape Hatteras, once we get out onto the Outer Banks, up into eastern Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia Beach. It wasn't too long ago, was it 2 years ago, that we had a big snow there on the beaches. So we are expecting to see impact here. And then as we continue into the major impact category, considerable disruptions, avoiding travel if at all possible. that becoming rather unlikely at this point. But I do think for cities like Raleigh, and then we take it east for North Carolina, that could be tweaked depending on how this storm continues to come together in the next few days. Here's our snow forecast. The reason I say that is because Raleigh, we're expecting 8 to 12 inches of snow as we get through Saturday and Sunday. That would definitely bring us some major impacts to the city. Charlotte on the cusp of about 5 to 8 inches. And this is going to be straight up through Virginia Beach and Norfolk. So, I mean, couple years that we see back to back where we get some pretty impactful snow. But here's this wind forecast too. As this low continues to deepen and strengthen, we are expecting to see a corridor of wind that could be topping near hurricane force wind gusts and maybe even sustained winds that could be closer to 50, 60 miles an hour. That would be reserved for the immediate coastline. But at that same time, as this low continues to deepen and strengthen, you know, it's going to kick up a lot of wave energy. And so that's why we have some concerns here of coastal flooding, of definitely some erosion to our beaches. Now, the thing is, once we get into Sunday, this low, as it begins to pull away, the reason why I think most of our coastal flood threat is going to come through Saturday from the ocean is because that's where the wind direction sits. As this low pulls away, it's really going to be the back bays that we'll have to watch through Sunday as that wind shifts offshore. But the wave energy, look at that. I mean, that's going to shut down shipping routes, boats, absolutely, as we head into the start of the week.
Okay, let's keep it moving. So this is what happens in New York, where you got the ice flow. You see how the ice is just flowing through, and that's gonna be like that for a couple of days, if not weeks, because it's so damn cold up here in the Northeast. And as you can see, it's really flowing, and there's a lot of ice, and very dangerous to be on these waters. You see these boats trying to make their way, like they're kind of like trying to get into place here. It's kind of like, what's going on? Look, you see how the flow changes with the water, with the high tide, low tide, how the water pushes in and the water pushes out. It's very unique to see it. You see how it goes stagnant and then it switches the other way. Ain't that cool? How the water just the flow, it changes and it goes back and forth. And that boat is just making a pure example of what I'm talking about. And I don't know why that is a boat here. I guess but you can see how the flow of the water and how it's rushing out. And then when it's low tide, it rushes back, and then high tide, it rushes back in. Low tide rushes out. Pretty cool. And this is New York City. Watch how it goes stagnant for a bit, and then the water, it starts picking up the steam and starts flowing. Wow. You know, this is the first time I've ever seen a video like this where you see all the water, how the water's flowing in and out with the ice. Wow, it's a lot of ice. That looks so cool. You know, New York does look beautiful, but the problem is they got some fucked up people that live there. And not only that, if you voted for Mandani, you guys are a bunch of idiots and you're going to regret it. You guys are already regretting it. That's for damn sure, because Madani is not the greatest, and you guys just picked like the worst of the worst. I mean, there's actually worse people, because there's been a lot of worse mayors of New York City. But let's see here. But that's beautiful, New York City. It is beautiful. You know, you can't take that away from it. It is beautiful. Talking about Mandani, let's go ahead and get a report on Mandani.
Our next story involves the political storm in New York City. 4 weeks after he was sworn in, Mayor Mamdani gets down to the nitty-gritty. A deficit of $2 billion appeared in the weeks of his predecessor's final term, and now $10 billion swarming the upcoming budget.
Oh my God.
For it. The mayor says higher taxes for anyone making more than $1 million a year, but What's the definition of a millionaire in New York City when the cost of some studio apartments here is $1 million?
Wow.
Indeed. Here's NJ Burkett.
I will be blunt. New York City is facing a serious fiscal crisis.
Mayor Mamdani spoke directly to New Yorkers. The city, he said, faces an enormous $12 billion budget deficit.
We are speaking about a fiscal crisis at the scale greater than the Great Recession. And so there will not be one single thing that can answer that crisis.
The mayor said City Hall will scrutinize city agencies and their spending, but he insists it will take more than that.
That also means raising taxes on the wealthiest New Yorkers and the most profitable corporations. And it means recalibrating the relationship with the state.
Mamdani repeated his campaign mantra, raising taxes by 2% on millionaires and raising the combined corporate tax rate to just over 22%. Critics in the city's business community insist that's a mistake.
Somebody looking to open a new business, start a new corporation, the next Amazon, is never going to make the choice to open in an environment where their 22% tax rate is. They're going to choose Florida,
That's too much.
choose Texas, and that's death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Any tax increase would have to be approved by the state legislature and signed by Governor Kathy Hochul.
We're not raising taxes in the state of New York. I'm not raising taxes for the sake of raising taxes. So he'll continue to say what he needs to say. I'll continue to say what I want to say. And you can report it any way you want.
But Mamdani believes he can persuade the governor and lawmakers. Cuts to essential services.
Nick, because he's trying to sweet talk him.
Are off the table.
Right now, we are not entertaining the idea of cuts. What we are talking about are savings and efficiencies that can be made, but not getting into the place where New York.
That's where he's going to fail.
Whether essential quality services will be delivered to them. That will continue.
Mamdani blamed the deficit on former Mayor Eric Adams' negligent budgeting.
Of course. Blame it on blame. That's what Democrats know how to do, is blame.
Suggesting the Mamdani administration doesn't know how to read a balance sheet. At City Hall, NJ Burkett, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Wow. Damn. They just threw that shit right in his face. You don't know how to read a budget sheet. Chain of Truth is here. Let's keep it moving. Okay, what is going on here? These people are just acting crazy here. This is so stupid of them. Like, I don't want to hear the music because I don't want YouTube to come after me on that shit. But like, they don't know what they're going for or what they're trying to do. Like, now they're going after Hilton for what? Like, oh, look, the picture. Hold the picture, of course, Marxists, everybody. Look at like they really cared about this person. They don't even know who that person is. But yet they could bring their Palestinian flags and they could bring their energy, all they want. This is your Democratic Party. And this is what the Democrats are known for. That's all they do. They know how to project and rally up the people and cause chaos, while the true Americans, the Republicans, are busting their ass working and actually putting into the system. What are these people doing for the system? What are they doing for themselves? Nothing. Do you think that this, what they're doing, is going to benefit them? No. What it's going to do is they're going to throw your ass in jail. And the police are going to come on in and they're going to start arresting people. And that's just the end of it, you know?
Stop housing ICE! Stop housing ICE! Stop housing ICE! Stop housing ICE! Stop housing ICE!
That's all we hear. Beep ice, beep ice, beep ice. What is that? That is ridiculous. Let's keep it moving.
Fox News is learning FBI agents are on site at a Fulton County election office in Georgia, where they are conducting a search. David Spunt's got more details for us on this developing story. David?
Hi, Sandra. This is a satellite office for the Fulton County Elections Office. The FBI Atlanta press office confirming this, not giving many details, saying that the FBI is executing a court-authorized law enforcement action. No other details at this time, but we do know via sources a judge signed off on this warrant, allowing these agents, as you see them, enter this building to take items from the inside. Now, we're told that this is a sealed matter before the court, meaning details are now limited. Now, agents are looking at documents, phones, computers. We are told via multiple sources this is related to the 2020 presidential election. Now, we don't know specifically what agents are taking to the FBI lab, items that may eventually become part of a federal case. You may remember President Trump was charged in Fulton County with trying to overturn the 2020 election results. That's Brad Raffensperger right there. He is the Secretary of State of Georgia. That is the Fulton County District Attorney, Fani Willis. Now, Raffensperger spoke to President Trump back in early 2021, and Trump said that he wanted to find some 11,000 votes to help win the election. Raffensperger said that he felt pressure from Trump. Willis then took Donald Trump to trial. That didn't happen. In 2023, she said that her prosecution was all buttoned up, ready to go, but it was completely derailed after it was revealed she had an intimate relationship with the top prosecutor on her team, and it could have tainted the case. Late last year, a judge dismissed the case in its entirety. It's important to point out, Sandra, that a judge typically would not just sign off on a warrant so the FBI could go on what's known as a fishing expedition. It's likely the FBI and DOJ presented some credible evidence to the judge for the judge to go ahead and give the green light. No immediate comment from the Justice Department. Again, the FBI confirming this court-authorized search warrant. We are waiting to see if perhaps Director Kash Patel, Attorney General Pam Bondi, or even Secretary Raffensperger, or perhaps Governor Brian Kemp have anything to say. We'll follow it. Sandra?
Okay, David Spunt there in Washington on that for us. Keep us posted. David, thank you. Bill.
Thank you.
Well, Sandra, Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin has a court hearing next week, and his lawyers
he's ugly as fuck.
are happening. They claim it would violate his right.
My God, that guy looks like a fucking gargoyle.
U.S. Attorney
He looks like a
Thanks
gargoyle.
for coming on this afternoon.
Bill, how are you?
Good. So I'm looking forward to getting your thoughts here. So
like,
this hearing
I remember,
next week, it's
like,
not on the merits of
Predator,
the case. It's the
that one
defense
part
trying to
where
get a county
Arnold Schwarzenegger
prosecutor
says,
off the case because they feel there's a
"One
conflict of interest because that
ugly
prosecutor has a
motherfucker."
child who goes to Utah Valley University. So they're saying showing this
One
video
ugly
of the murder
motherfucker.
during that hearing about a conflict of interest is irrelevant, it's graphic, and it would potentially alienate future jurors. Do they have a point here?
Well, they have a point, Bill, in the sense that it's not really necessary for the judge to view that video in the context of deciding whether the prosecutor has to be removed because he's got a daughter who may have been either at the school or in the audience. I don't think that's a very good reason to dismiss a prosecutor. If they were worried that a juror's family member were at the school or in the audience, that would be a different thing. But there's no requirement that prosecutors may be biased in favor of prosecution. So that it's kind of I think I wouldn't say it's a frivolous motion. Defense lawyers obviously going to make it. If we were talking about suppressing the videotape in connection with the trial, that would be ridiculous. But in connection with this hearing, the judge may not need to see it to decide that narrow issue.
Ugly
Yeah, here's a little
motherfucker.
bit more
Oh
on
my
the motion the
God.
defense filed here. It says in part, quote,
It's just he looks
"Nothing about
ugly.
the
Like you want
motion
to
or
punch him in the
state's
fucking
opposition
face.
necessitates the viewing of the moments just before or the moment of Mr. Kirk's death and the captured audio in order to reach a legal conclusion about the existence of that actual or apparent and unwaivable conflict of interest." They go on to say that the video is, quote, graphic and highly disturbing. So Andy, to your point, they're not saying the video can't be played during the actual trial. They just don't think it's relevant for this hearing here. Your thoughts?
And it may be, Bill, that, if the prosecutors think about it, it's going to be difficult enough to select a jury in this case. So they may not want to be in a position of being depicted as sort of overemphasizing this video before we even get to the jury trial and creating a bunch of publicity that makes it a little harder to pick a jury. But look, this is a horrific murder, and there's no way to sanitize it into a way that it's not a horrific murder. And when it gets down to trial, the government is entitled to prove its case.
Yeah, and to your point, murder is graphic and disturbing, right? Let's take a look at some of the laundry list of charges that Robinson is facing. Aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, tampering with a witness, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child. So, Andy, looking at this motion for next week and the defense not wanting that video having to do with that hearing, how do you think the judge is going to rule on this one?
I think the judge will rule that the prosecutor can stay on the case. This is not an adequate basis to remove a prosecutor. If you think about it, Bill, common sense wise, I prosecuted murderers and terrorists and all that stuff. Prosecutors are not required to like the people that they prosecute or even be open-minded about their character. They have to be professional and follow the rules of the court. And again, if it was a juror's family member, that would be an issue. With the prosecutor, it's not an issue.
Yep, certainly going to be a whole lot of eyeballs on this one. Andy McCarthy, always appreciate your expertise, and thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, let's keep it moving. We got more to watch.
Tragic death in Spring Valley has led Rockland County to fine a homeowner several $1,000s.
Once inside, home inspectors found several dozen violations like faulty wiring, illegal conversions, and even blocked exits.
Eyewitness News reporter Marcus Solis has the latest from Spring Valley.
The red tag outside of 18 White Street indicates the property is off limits as officials sort out the conditions found inside. Last Thursday, Spring Valley police responded to a call of an unconscious baby. The 6-month-old was pronounced dead at an area hospital. But police say there were 8 other kids in the house at the time, prompting an investigation into whether an unlicensed daycare facility was operating at the location. Neighbors say they had no idea of the conditions next door, but the buildings department found 51 violations during an inspection.
Wow, that's a lot of violations.
Lack of smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, egress paths, windows that have been boarded up, the illegal conversion of the garage into a living space.
Illegal conversions have long been a problem in Spring Valley, so much so the county has taken over inspections in the village. This woman says she lived in an apartment in the house, but claims she was unaware of illicit activity.
Me live over here.
You live here?
Yeah.
Was it a daycare center?
No. I don't know. I mean, not the, what you said?
The children had been removed from the
She's like,
location by the
what you
time
say?
the buildings department conducted its inspection. Officials say there was nothing obvious that points to a daycare facility.
The inspection didn't reveal any cribs, any type of nursery style equipment, height chairs. The only thing that would have been recognized were a few car seats.
The landlord, Joel Friedman, has been hit with $42,000 in fines. He could not be reached for comment. The buildings department says it doesn't appear anything in the home contributed to the baby's death, which remains under investigation by police. In Spring Valley, Marcus Solis, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Wow, that's crazy. Keep it moving.
Folks, let's bring in QI Research CEO, Chief Strategist, Daniel DiMartino Booth. All right, let's just talk about what we know so far. 2 big bombshells, the dissenters, also shifting from jobs back to being concerned about inflation.
Yeah, I don't think I understand that. I mean, if you're watching prices in real time, Truflation TRU, which we've spoken about many times, came in this morning at 1.15%.
It's in free fall. It's in free fall.
It is, and it has been in free fall, and that's a headline number. That's even with the increase we've seen these last few days in oil prices, which is going to translate straight to the gas pump.
All right, I got to ask you about this letter that you wrote to the FOMC, because I don't know how to interpret it. It seems like maybe you're asking Powell and company to go to war with this. You end with, at the risk of being political, to avoiding it in your circle, in the hands of Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and President Trump. Do you want the current Fed to go to war with President Trump and Bessent?
I'm clearly too late because they've already had the vote, Charles. They had the vote today. They have the vote at every single January FOMC to vote in the chair of the Federal Open Market Committee. All 19 members had the chance to vote Christopher Waller. They chose today not to. Helps explain why Waller dissented, because this is the only thing that will keep his hat in the ring against Rick Reeder.
But what good would it have done if they said,
well, we wouldn't be watching Powell behind the podium right now. We'd be waiting for Christopher Waller, the chair of the FOMC, to step up to the podium at 2:30 p.m. Eastern today, right now.
So listen, pick up on that. Rick Reeder now, his stock has surged.
I dare say that Christopher Waller's stock is
Talk
in the
about
last.
that. Fall in love Reader. This article out saying, inside the tomorrow night, that makes me qualify for the Fed too, because.
I mean, look, this is how I handicap it, okay? Christopher Waller is a true Federal Reserve independent central banker. He's never made a political donation in his entire life to either party. That's what you're supposed to do. It was grounds for termination had I done so when I was at the Fed.
Really?
Rick Reeder has made donations to many individuals who would be considered enemies of the current administration. And by the way, that $2.3 trillion part, do you remember when Hank Paulson became Treasury Secretary? The tax bill that he avoided was $100 million at the time because he had to liquidate his gold loan position. Imagine what he would save in unpaid taxes.
So it sounds like you maybe, because a lot of people are worried about Warsaw also being sort of a sheep and doves, sheep's clothing, or whatever the saying is, not necessarily saying the right thing. A totally different Fed chair.
Whatever
if he were to
the
get the
saying
job
is.
than what President Trump wants. He wouldn't be the dove that Trump is looking for.
No, he is very much
It's
anti-money
a wolf
printing.
in sheep
He's
clothing.
anti-zero interest rate policy. And Warsh is very much on
That
the
was
record
funny.
with this. So you're right. He may be saying what he needs to stay in the running, but that's certainly not what his personal philosophy is.
He's been high on some of these betting odds. Okay, so on average, Jay Powell says the word inflation at least 40 times. Okay, this is it right here, right? He says it less in the January meetings, but he says it a lot. And apparently inflation is still on their mind. We just heard Edward Lawrence saying, okay, somehow this shifting now is going from being concerned about labor back to a sort of being overly concerned about inflation. We just talked about that. It doesn't seem like it matches. So I hope they hit him hard on this in the Q&A.
Look, this isn't just about Ozempic. You know, we had an earnings report out yesterday. People are spending less on dog food. Okay, that means that the consumer is really stretched. He's not listening to what these company CEOs are saying about the devastation that they've suffered in their pricing power.
So in a nutshell, what's your assessment of where the economy is and what the Fed should be doing this year?
Look, private employment peaked in April. This is something that Powell acknowledged at the last press conference. They're clearly failing.
And he said brace for lower revisions.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we got. We got deep revisions, and yet now all of a sudden the pendulum has swung to being worried about inflation again?
Right.
I don't think so.
Right. All right. Stick around. I need your help.
Not
when the Q&A session starts, we got to hash through it. But I also want to bring in our next guest because he says when it comes.
That guy was all over the place. He sounds like that. That's all, folks. Like Yosemite Sam for a second. Like I was confused. I was like, what is he trying to go with this? He was trying to say wolves in sheep clothing and clothing with sheeps, and I didn't understand anything he was trying to reference to. But that's who they pay to put up on the television screen so everybody could watch. He gets paid the big bucks while I sit here and get shit. Let's keep it moving because we got more to watch. It's coming out. Let's go ahead and set this up. Of course, the sound. Always have a problem with the sound with this system with StreamYard. I'm getting accustomed to it. It's always messing up. So give me a second to set this up. Here we go.
A fire at a recycling center in South El Monte.
Gil Davis is in Sky 5 with the details. Gil?
Glenn and Lou, LA County Fire, calling this a metal recycling plant here. This is in the 2200 block of Tyler Avenue near Klingerman in South El Monte. As I zoom in here, you see it is now a second alarm fire. This all started just after 2:30 this afternoon. It quickly went to a 2-alarm structure fire response by LA County Fire. It's already burned through
Damn,
majority
that's
of the
crazy. A
rest of
2-alarm fire?
business here.
It's,
We
it's,
believe that is
it's,
the metal recycling plant. You can see
yeah,
a
that's
bunch
a lot
of
of shit
metal
back there, though.
outside that's being recycled. That's on fire as well. The fire has actually skipped through some of that area and has moved further to the north
The
here,
problem is
burning some
you
material
got so
there
much
in the
shit
open
and it's
space
gonna
there.
burn
But
up.
several buildings that are threatened right now surrounding the
You know that
structure right
smoke
now.
is
And as I
not
come up to
safe.
White Shot, you see the amount of smoke that's billowing up here now. This is a commercial or industrial
Yeah.
area, but it's surrounded by a lot of homes and businesses. So the concern for the people that live in this area is that heavy smoke that's going up high into the sky. In fact, we can see that smoke from the UCLA campus area that we were over just a short time
That's
ago.
horrible.
But as you see, as I
Recycling
zoom in
center
here, a
on
lot of
fire.
active flame that is burning through the structure. Most of the roof has burned through and has collapsed.
Well, at
Concern
least
for
it makes it easier
firefighters
to fight
are
the
the
fire.
exterior walls collapsing. But at this point, they're doing a great job trying to get their water cannons onto this fire. Of course, this is a defensive fire. They're fighting it from the outside, but as I zoom in, you
I
see
mean, they
the
got all
intensity of the
angles
flames
covered.
within the building, and then the materials outside the building. We understand it's filled with titanium and also propane tanks that have been
Ooh,
exploding
that's not
during the
good.
course of this fire. But again, a major fire response by LA County Fire as they try to battle this heavy fire burning here in South El Monte. That's the latest overhead up in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting ready to ask you about explosives, because especially with the recycling distribution center, you're saying that you have heard them exploding.
Yeah, we heard reports that firefighters were saying that there were propane tanks within the structure. We believe that has already burned through. But look at all those empty. I don't know if those are empty tanks or barrels, I should say, outside. Now they're keeping a lot of water on that area to try to prevent.
Why would
those
you
from
store
going
that
on if
outside
there's
though,
any
like
product
that?
inside. So it's unclear as
Is
far
that,
as
is
other than the
that even
titanium
legal?
and the propane, what else is on the premises here. But we see a
See how the
bunch
way
of
they have it
barrels
stacked
all
up
over the
like that?
property here that may be filled with unknown hazardous materials.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
not good.
So just if you could back up just a little bit to the left, you know, they're shooting water over other buildings, and I guess that's out of abundance of safety because of the explosive situation.
Yeah, but there's
Absolutely,
still a
Glenn. In
lot of
fact,
fire
that
there.
is one reason, but they're also trying to protect this particular structure. It basically surrounds the property that's on fire. You can see that newer structure that the firefighters are on. So they're definitely pumping water down onto that material in this section. But we believe the fire started in this building here and spread outwardly into the areas surrounding it. So at this point, it looks like there's also one more building that's within the smoke right in here. It's hard to say if that has caught fire yet, but at this point, all these hot spots, they're definitely trying to knock down. The good news is there's a lot more gray smoke than black smoke than from when we first arrived about 20 minutes ago.
All right, Gil Levis, thank you for that. We'll check back in if any additional information comes available. Appreciate it.
Wow.
Back to that breaking news in South El Monte, a massive fire at a recycling center.
KTLA 5's Gil Levis overhead in Sky 5. Gil?
Well, Glenn and Lou, LA County Fire has just called it a third alarm response.
Oh, now it's a 3-alarm fire?
Structure fire, the
It's going to
2200
keep
block
going
of
up.
Tyler Avenue near Klingerman Street. Let me come out to a wide shot. That's the original building that caught fire. Behind it, on the north side here in the center of the smoke,
It's
a second
moving.
building has caught fire. It is burning through that building
Oh,
as well,
man,
and
that's
as well as the
not
material
good.
around the buildings here. Again, a lot of smoke coming up out of this fire. You want to make sure you don't breathe this
Well, if you guys
smoke in
live
if you live in the
anywhere
area. In
in
fact,
this
they're calling
area,
for a shelter-in-place order for the general
shelter in
vicinity
place.
of this fire. But in the meantime, firefighters doing what they can to try to knock down the flames. Again, the main structure here, it looks like it's burned through the majority of that structure, and now the structure to the rear is on fire. You can see the heavy smoke and the dark smoke coming out
I would
of
like to
there,
know
and
how
the
they're going to
fire that's
figure
burning
out
through
how
that
this
roof.
fire
And again,
started.
the firefighters doing what they can to protect the
That
structures
investigation is
in
going
the
to be
area. That's the
pretty
latest overhead
interesting.
up in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Gil, quick question here. You had mentioned the titanium, and we did a little bit of research. Our colleague Kai Goldberg found out serious information that titanium is in there. So it makes sense that they're doing this shelter in place because of the hazardous conditions, also for your eyes and also lungs. A lot of people in that neighborhood, no looky-loos. They should not be standing around.
Absolutely. In fact, let me come out wide and show you the neighborhood directly to the north. This is Klingerman Avenue or Klingerman Street. You can see all the homes there on that street. But again, beyond that, all the smoke that's going up over this neighborhood in South El Monte, this fire can be seen from a long distance and definitely from the 10 and the 60 freeways, as well as the 605, which is very close to this area. But again, yes, you want to shelter in place, keep your windows and doors closed, and try not to breathe in any of this toxic smoke.
All right, Gil Davis in Sky 5 will continue to monitor this fire at a recycling center in South El Monte. Again, inside that building, propane tanks and titanium. A very volatile situation, not
good. And let's keep it moving because we got more to watch. More fires. What happened? Oh, shit. A massive blaze rips through French Alps. So this is a resort in the French Alps, and huge fire broke out in the French Alps. Man, a lot of these ski resorts are having a lot of issues, man, with fires. What was the other one? What was Switzerland? I think the one with the Swiss that had that fire that killed all the people on New Year's Eve, New Year's. And now you got this fire going on. Wow, and that's a bad fire because if it catches, it's gonna burn all that place down. That's a lot of wood. I got a lot of fuel. So, damn, that's horrible. That does not look good, ladies and gentlemen. This is like a whole resort. Oh my god. It's burning down. Holy shit. And why they're not throwing water on it? Is the question, right? No water? What's going on here? Oh man, that whole place is gonna burn down. Not good. Let's keep it moving.
Sam. Judy Robb, the property owner, is relieved, to say the least. She was there as police removed the people allegedly living inside her home. And now the property owner, she finally has her house back.
Thank God.
There he is.
There he got him.
They
got him.
After months of trying to get alleged squatters out of her home, Sherry Kloss is now rejoicing.
Yes, get them the fuck out.
This all started last October when she says a man, his girlfriend, and their dog moved into her Roseland property.
We'll get that
Kloss
bitch
told
out
us
too.
They were not her tenants.
This is my investment, my home. I am losing money every single day.
She even went as far as
Whoa.
to protest outside of her own home, demanding the alleged squatters leave or be arrested. At the time, police didn't remove the people inside.
Of course,
even
'cause it's
with the
off.
new Illinois squatter law that went into effect this year. The owner says the man inside claimed he had a lease and wasn't leaving.
He doesn't have no
Come here
lease.
to the
He's the
hall and they'll
owner.
Say, hey, Sherry, you can't get me out of here.
Chicago police initially told the I-Team they don't carry out evictions, but they do enforce criminal trespass to property when the officer can verify an individual is illegally trespassing. A week later, 22-year-old DeAndre Williams was arrested and
He looks like a
charged.
winner.
His charges include criminal trespass to property, sex offender registry, false
What?
information, reckless discharge of a firearm, and electronic harassment.
Oh my
Another
God.
woman, Kelly White, was charged with criminal trespass to a residence.
Oh.
Kloss says the couple left a big mess behind in her
Oh.
home with holes, clothing,
Look at this
and pet
shit.
droppings everywhere. But in the
What
end,
the fuck?
she is glad to have her house back.
Nah, they should charge that motherfucker with the cleanup fee.
We were able to
There should be a
really
cleanup fee.
shine
some light on this problem. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
No.
DeAndre Williams must remain in custody until his next court date on Friday. Kelly White is set to appear in court in March. Neither has entered a plea. Now, the I-team will be sure to follow these cases. As you just saw, that property owner in Roseland, she is relieved, even though the house needs some work now, but she is so happy to finally have it back.
The
Wait a
squatters
minute.
better take notice on the stuff you've done with the I-team and the laws that have been changed. Now there's some accountability.
And, you know, these property owners, they feel empowered finally to speak up, to come to us, to share their stories. And so, to your point, if anybody is considering squatting in someone's home, they better watch out because our viewers are stepping up and they're
That's right.
speaking
Keep an eye on Sam's story, Samantha. Thank you. And speaking of which, Sam is on your side. And as you see, getting some results. If you have a problem, you want Samantha and the I-team to investigate, call today at 312-750-7TIP.
And police.
And I'm telling you this, they need to add a little bit more to that story. Whatever damage that was occurred while they were in there and all that mess you saw all over the place, and I'm pretty sure it's disgusting because the dog was probably urinating and shitting inside that place, I would send them a bill for the repairs and for the cleanup of the whole house. And they need to pay. If not, you gotta stay in jail until you pay it off. How about that? Fucking assholes. It's like they always try to find an easy way out. They like there's ways to do things and there's ways to not do things, and this is a big not. Like, why are you gonna go into someone's home and then take over their home and then not leave and then say, "Oh yeah, I have a lease"? What? The fucking owner's right here. You don't have a lease with her. Because if you did, she would have the lease. She would have a copy, at least, of the lease. Like, what paperwork do you have that has the owner's signature? Zero. That's why his ass is in jail. And I hope he doesn't get out on bail. So let's go ahead and continue on with what we got going here. We're doing good tonight. We're actually on a good flow. Oh, Trump. Here we go.
Trump supporter, a Trump fan, and she took a little heat on occasion. Her community isn't necessarily, I tell you, we did pretty damn well with that, with your community, as we say. But Nikki has been an unbelievable
Mickey
supporter.
Minaj.
She gets almost as much as Mr. Wonderful over here. He's been another one that's been so good. But I'd like to ask you to come up, Nikki. Come on up. Come on.
Woo,
she's been such a great supporter and a great supporter of Trump accounts.
Come on, Trump, do the boom boom dance.
And I said, I'm going to let my nails grow because I love those nails. I'm going to let
Trump
those
is going to
nails
turn drag. He's going drag for Mickey.
She's so good. She's been MAGA. What can I say? She's been with us all the way, right, Alex? She's been with us all the way. And just want to thank her.
Aw.
And it wasn't so easy.
Thank you, person. And he's waiting for her to come up. That is so
Mr.
awesome.
Mr. Wonderful, come on up here. You've been terrific.
Aw.
Come on up.
Is he gonna hug her? Oh, he's giving her a clap. Oh. What is she wearing? She looks like a marshmallow. Girl, you look like a marshmallow. Marshmallow. You look like marshmallows. Girl. Hey, girl,
Hello.
what's up?
Well, I don't know what to say, but I will say that
Girl, you need a step stool.
I am probably the president's #1 fan.
Woo! Woo! Damn. Y'all could keep Cardi B. We got Nicki Minaj, bitch. Oh, Lord. Yeah, it was like, starships are meant to fly. It's up into the sky. I'm not going to sing the whole song, but you could guys look it up and jam to it. It's one of my favorite songs of Nicki Minaj, actually. Let's keep it moving. What the fuck? What the hell? Yo, that's a bazooka. Are you kidding me? Whoa! Yo, they hit that vehicle with the bazooka. Nothing happened to the bazooka. No security were wounded. Wow, look at that. So the guy just gets out of the car, comes out with the bazooka, and launches it right at the vehicle. But I tell you right now, he was a horrible shot because he did not do shit to the vehicle. And the mayor ended up living. Let's keep it moving.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us on 11 Alive News and streaming on 11 Alive Plus. I'm Ron Jones.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. We begin tonight with breaking news. Just hours ago, authorities arresting the man accused of killing a pregnant woman in Monroe. Dorius Brooks was taken into custody in Barrow County. Sheriff Judd Smith telling our Cody Alcorn he'll be taken to Walton County to now face murder charges. According to Monroe police, Brooks shot Tania Stokes on Sunday, and Stokes was pregnant with a baby boy and leaves behind a 2-year-old daughter. Family members say she was a student teaching in Gwinnett County and was set to graduate in May from Kennesaw State. Tonight, only here on 11 Alive, her family is speaking out on what would have been her 23rd birthday.
11 Alive's Cody Alcorn live right now on Monroe. So, Cody, you were invited to a vigil earlier this afternoon, right?
That's right, Ron and Jennifer. It was over in Social Circle, Tania's hometown. One person you will notice missing is Tania's mother today at the funeral home. The heartbreak was too much, and she has since been hospitalized.
She was, oh God. She was full of hope. She was full of life. She was full of promise. And all she wanted on this earth was to be loved.
Tiana Stokes.
Such a sweet person.
A daughter.
We ain't got her here in body, but in soul and spirit, she's still with us.
A sister.
She was always there for each one of us.
And a mother.
She was proud of a girl that she already got. We're going to miss her.
T, as her family calls her, was expecting a baby boy in April.
No, she didn't have a name, and that's what we were talking about. Like, what name should we come up with? I know she did want the name to start with a K, because her little girl, Cambry, starts with a K.
On January 25th, T was shot along GW Carver Drive in Monroe.
Why?
My sister didn't deserve this.
Killed just 2 days before her birthday.
So we were making funeral arrangements on her birthday.
Oh, no.
On Tuesday, instead of celebrating with T, her family held a vigil to honor 2 lives taken too soon.
She lit up the room everywhere she went,
including the classroom. T was just months away from getting her teaching degree at Kennesaw State.
The world didn't get a chance to see what she was going to offer.
That's
She
horrible.
loved children. The kids that she left behind at Tequila Elementary, I know they're devastated.
Oh, man.
This family also obviously devastated. And to show you how far her impact reached, even people from the bank where Tiana banked at reached out to me during this whole process and said she lit up every time she came to the drive-thru. Live in Monroe, Cody Alcorn, 11 Alive News.
Man, our hearts go out to that family. Cody, thank you. By the way, folks, we should also mention there was a 25-year-old man who was also shot, but he survived. And as of tonight, police have not released a motive behind this shooting.
That is wild. Keep it moving.
Well, court hearing was set for today, and that was postponed because of the amount of evidence that attorneys have to wade through here today on both sides of the case. Many of the details we've learned from those court documents are quite gruesome, as prosecutors say the pregnant woman was stabbed 70 times.
What?
And the dog was attacked as well.
70
The
times?
loss of 30-year-old Eliza Morales, who was more than 5 months pregnant when police say a
What's
man
going on with
allegedly
these
stabbed
pregnant
her to
women
death
dying?
Monday night and then lit her apartment on fire. That suspect now in custody is
They look like a
19-year-old
fucking
Venus
dwarf.
Rodriguez, facing first-degree murder charges as well as
What the fuck
felony
is wrong with
charges.
this guy?
His family still at a loss for words.
You know, we always
Oh
say that we
man,
lose, but
I
you
say
never
an eye
think
for
that
an
it will
eye.
happen to you
We need to
or to
stab this
someone that you
motherfucker
love. So
71 times for what he
it's just,
did.
we're in shock. We can't believe that evil even exists.
Court documents allege that Ravukas agreed to purchase a vehicle from Morales' husband, Gabriel, over the weekend. The two had agreed that Ravukas would come pick up the vehicle's title and bill of sale on Monday at the Morales home in Downers Grove while Gabriel was at work. That's when police say there was a struggle inside the home as Ravukas attempted to rob Eliza Morales. He allegedly stabbed Morales 70 times with a knife and also stabbed her dog between the eyes, which is now being treated at a vet hospital. Prosecutors say the
He
suspect
stabbed the
had
dog
used items in
too?
the home to start a fire on the stove, leading to this damage inside.
She was over 5 months
Oh no
pregnant
no
when
no
you
no
know you
no
did
no
this to
no
a
no.
pregnant woman, and she loved nature. She
Oh
loved
my
walking
god.
outside, and even her dog was attacked.
Prosecutors say
Yo, I
Ravukas
hope they get
admitted
him
to
in
murdering
jail.
Morales and
Oh, I
starting
hope they
that
get him in
fire
jail.
because he was, quote, upset with the condition of the vehicle he was sold. The victim also has a 2-year-old daughter who was staying with other family at the time of the murder.
I'll spend the rest of my life wishing I can get
Because
every
he
last second
didn't
back with
like
her.
the condition of the
And
car, he
just
went
continue
back
to
and
try to
killed
live
her,
through her
stabbing her
for my
70
daughter
times.
and continue to be strong for my family.
Now, the family
Oh
tells
my
us
god.
it's finalizing those funeral plans. Meanwhile, the suspect will face a judge tomorrow morning in DuPage County Court.
Yo, for people like that, I say, listen, we need instant justice. You know what I mean? There should be like a law for instant justice if you were to kill a pregnant like person or pregnant lady. Doesn't matter if it's a gunshot or stabbing. I think eye for an eye. If you kill that person a certain way, then that's the same way that you die. So, like, this person stabbed this lady 70 times. Can you actually do this 70 times? My arm hurts already doing like 5 times. Oh my god, like my elbows just started hurting. Motherfucker, I'm getting old, but imagine 70 times like not even Chucky does that shit. Chucky doesn't go there and be like imagine do that 70 times and you're like this. That's like you're freaking jerking or something. Like, what the fuck is going on with this asshole? Man, I hope they get him in jail. Oh god. Can we have instant justice where like they know it's you and you did commit the crime? They just like the judge just pull out a gun and just poof and get them out. I mean, we need to go back to those days that we have instant justice because that motherfucker don't deserve to live. Hell no. Mm-mm. All right, let's keep it moving because we do got more to watch.
Details revealed today in court in the Jacqueline Torres murder
Oh,
case.
not this.
The state continuing to lay out all of the evidence
Oh,
against the
man.
3 people charged. Jacqueline's
This
mother,
motherfucker
aunt,
is supposed
and
to die
mother's
too.
ex-boyfriend.
That ex is Anita, who was in court today. Your reporter Dylan Fearon was also there and has the disturbing details.
Todd Krolikowski was one of the New Britain police officers who found Jacqueline's body back in October. It was in a tote behind this
I
abandoned
went
home
there
on
to the
Clark
house.
Street.
I had to open up a garbage bag, tearing it open.
And when you looked inside, what did you see?
A head and shoulders, consistent with a human remain, and the head had dark hair.
Jacqueline had
Oh.
been dead for more than a year when that grotesque
my
discovery
God.
was made. Her mother, Carla Garcia, and Jonathan Nanita accused of abusing and starving Jacqueline, even tying her up. Eventually, Jacqueline died in her bed in Farmington. Her body allegedly stored in the basement until Nanita moved it to New Britain.
I've been there. I have a video on
Corwick
YouTube.
Testified today. She interviewed Nanita the night Jacqueline's body was found.
I left some
We
candles
had a few
there.
witnesses who pointed to him being the one that disposed of the body.
And what did he admit to you?
He admitted that he did move the body, the bin containing the body. He said that he presumed it to be Mimi in the bin.
But Nanita denies abusing and starving Jacqueline, claiming all the abuse came from Carla Garcia. He claims he tried to save Jacqueline when he realized she died.
She was purple. She was cold.
Then why he didn't call
He
cops?
said he did CPR.
No, that's no excuse. That's not an
And
excuse.
did he say whether he was able
No,
to revive her?
no, motherfucker.
No, he
No.
said he did 20 minutes of CPR, including mouth to mouth. But was not
Bullshit.
able to revive her.
We also heard testimony from a
911.
Farmington detective who claimed they found pictures
911.
of Jacqueline with her hands zip tied. The
Oh,
pictures were
your
found
excuse.
on Jacqueline's aunt's cell phone, Jacqueline Garcia, who's also been charged.
Now in a fetal position on the floor with her hands zip tied behind her back. Discoloration and bruising around both legs, thighs.
This makes me
Farmington
sick.
next door neighbor Erin Santos says she never saw Jacqueline, didn't even realize she existed, but that the Garcia home was chaotic. Nanita and Carla Garcia are both being held on $5 million bond. Today's hearing was so the judge
I'm
could
so
see
mad
all
right
the
now.
evidence the state has collected over the past few months. Carla Garcia will be back in court on Friday. I'm your reporter in Torrington, Dylan Fear, in Channel 3 Eyewitness.
Fuck those fuckers. Keep it moving.
In the case of Jacqueline Torres Garcia,
Oh,
also known
no,
as
another.
Mimi, 2 detectives with the Farmington Police Department took the stand today with one of the suspects, Jonathan Nanita, in the courtroom. News 8's Preston Stober is live in our newsroom now with more on what was said in court today during this very emotional case. Preston?
Absolutely, Dennis. Jonathan Nanita sat in the courtroom today listening to 2 investigators talk about his alleged involvement in the death of 11-year-old Jacqueline
Fucker, man.
Torres Garcia. One of the key points addressed by state's attorneys
his ass
involved
in
in it
jail.
involved a cell phone that they said contained photos of Mimi before she died.
Motherfucker.
They also said that phone was used for communication between multiple suspects in the case, including Nanita and Mimi's mother, Carla Garcia.
To your knowledge, detective, were any photographs of Mimi Torres found on that phone after, say, October of 2024?
Yes.
There were photographs of her alive?
No. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of there were none after September of Mimi Torres.
Oh my god. Ugh.
One of the detectives who took the stand today was the lead investigator when Farmington Police joined the case. You may remember New Britain Police had been the first agency involved after Mimi's body was found in that city. Detective James McCune with Farmington Police says he interviewed Nanita after his arrest. And in that interview, McCune says Nanita talked about the relationship he had with Mimi's mother, Carla Garcia, and the relationship Carla had with her daughter.
Did he describe Mimi to you at all during your interview?
Oh yes, yeah.
How did you describe her?
Beautiful, smart girl.
And did he describe Carla's relationship with Nina?
He said Carla hated me. With Nina?
I'm sorry, not Nina, with Mimi.
He said Carla hated me.
Nanita's probable cause hearing continues tomorrow. Coming up tonight on News 8, I'll have more on the rest of the hearing, including the afternoon session and what was said. Live in the newsroom, Preston Stober, News 8.
He's going to hell.
Thailand is among several Asian nations that have stepped up airport health screenings after India reported 2 cases of the deadly Nipah virus. But what is Nipah and how concerned should people be? Nipah is a rare viral infection that comes mainly from fruit bats. It was first identified in Malaysia in the late 90s. Here's Paul Hunter, professor in medicine at Norwich Medical School in Britain.
Most transmission events are because of a contact either with an infected animal or with something that has been contaminated by fruit bats.
It can also spread from person to person, typically after close contact between the sick and their caregivers, though experts say that does not happen easily. Nipah can cause severe illness and can be deadly.
The death rate varies from outbreak to outbreak, but is of the order of about 45 to 75% mortality rate.
Though Hunter points out that is based on identified infections. He says some people get no symptoms at all and may not be identified as infected. This means Nipah's actual death rate is likely to be lower. One concern is that the infection has an incubation period of 1 to 2 weeks.
And what this means is that it's actually very difficult to control at airports. You've got a disease that's got 2 weeks incubation period. For the first 2 weeks after somebody's carrying the infection, there's no way you can pick it up.
For those who do get symptoms, Hunter says the early signs can be non-specific, like fever and headaches. In severe cases, Nipah can cause encephalitis, which is inflammation of the brain.
You have a high fever, you have very severe headaches, and you can have photophobia where the light hurts your eyes, and that is often associated with cases that ultimately die.
Reuters global health correspondent Jennifer Rigby says there is no need to worry too much.
There's been outbreaks almost every year in Bangladesh, small outbreaks because it doesn't spread easily from person to person.
She says the WHO sees it as a priority pathogen, but the virus has not yet shown signs of becoming more transmissible among humans or spreading easily worldwide. Rigby also says a prevention may be on its way.
There is a number of groups working on a vaccine, notably the Oxford University scientists who developed one of the COVID vaccines. They have a Nipah virus vaccine, and that's actually started human trials in Bangladesh just last year.
In the meantime, experts say those in high-risk areas should be careful. Peel fruit before eating and don't drink raw juice as it hasn't been pasteurized to kill viruses.
Crazy. Keep it moving.
We have an update today after a car burglary led to a deadly crash in Deerfield Beach.
2 men were killed after the car they were in plunged into a pond. Now the driver is facing charges and went before a judge today.
And local 10's Gabrielle Arzola joins us right now with what happened in court.
Christy, Eric, investigators say this started as a break-in and then turned deadly. And like you said, the only survivor now faced a judge just a few hours ago. Today, the Broward County Sheriff's Office say the driver responsible for crashing a car into a retention pond, which ultimately killed 2 people, faced a judge. And he and 2 other men were caught trying to break into cars around 4 a.m. in this Deer Creek neighborhood in Deerfield Beach.
Multiple individuals were burglarizing unoccupied vehicles in this community.
Home surveillance video shows the moments before their plans took a deadly turn. You can see one man sprinting, then ducks under a parked car and throws up his hands, surrendering as deputies closed in. But when deputies got closer, the 3 sped off, but the chase didn't last long. Within moments, their car slammed into this retention pond.
They're probably about 40, 50 feet out in the middle of the canal, and they just went down with the vehicle, and they're not coming back up.
Philibert managed to escape and was immediately arrested. 2 other men remained trapped inside that sinking SUV. Local 10 was on scene all day as the BSO dive team pulled one body from the water, and hours later, another body was recovered, as well as the getaway car. Residents were in shock.
It's scary. It's frightening. I can't believe.
How this all played out is still under investigation, but it's left many neighbors wondering how these suspects ended up driving right into the water.
They thought this was an exit, I'm assuming. You have 3 entrances into this community, but 2 of them are dead ends.
So we know now Philibert is being held on a $24,000 bond. In Deerfield Beach, I'm Gabrielle Arzola, Local 10 News.
Yo, his friends died, but he gets a bail for $24,000. Make it make sense. What's your name? What's your name? Yeah, he ain't gonna do nothing. He can say all his name all he want. If he's listed to leave and be arrested, but you see how they interfere? You got these people that just getting on the police. He's like, don't hit me. He's like, don't hit me. Get in the fucking car. Shut the fuck up.
Please, please.
Oh, female ice agent. Nice. Blow your whistles all you want. Matter of fact, you put your whistle up your ass and blow farts, and it'll whistle.
Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up!
Why if people are in the middle of fucking operation? This makes 0 sense.
Back up!
0 cents.
Back up!
How are these people
Back up now!
getting this information where the agents are?
Stay away from us!
Stop.
Look at this Latino.
Yeah, that's ridiculous with their little whistles. That's the most stupidest thing that they could come up with. Democrats and their whistle. What idiots. What idiots. And then the photographers are not helping either. You know what I mean? Because they're getting right in the middle of the way. Like, none of them are supposed to be there. Not even the media. This is an operation. It's an ICE operation. No one should be there. How are they getting the information that ICE is going to be there? You know what I mean? It makes 0 sense. Look, they threw something in the car. You saw that shit? Oh, man. Ugh. These people, they need to start arresting these motherfuckers. They should do like an operation, right? That they're going to pretend that they're going to go and arrest someone. But in reality, they're going to arrest the people that are fucking there protesting. And they're going to have a paddy wagon, a couple of them, because we need like buses out there, and arrest all these motherfuckers. And then take their whistles and smash that shit on the floor. Fucking motherfuckers, man. It's like, what in the hell is what are they trying to point? Like, what is their goal with your little whistle? What are you gonna do with your little whistle? Fucking stupid, man. All right, keep it moving. I watched the news for it to piss me off.
Thanks, Caroline. Tonight, a stunning turn after an animal advocate investigation that you saw only on Local 10 News. A mailman seen pepper spraying 3 dogs on camera has been arrested.
No!
Local 10 Nelson Bovic is live outside the jail in Fort Lauderdale with the
He
charges
sprayed the
he's
little
now facing.
dog.
Sanella.
Are you kidding me?
Only 2 days after our animal advocate story aired, a mailman was arrested earlier in the day by Lauderhill police. He remains locked up at jail. This evening, he is accused of pepper spraying 3 defenseless dogs that were in a fenced-in yard.
It was intentional. It was malicious.
A mailman making an unwelcomed delivery that led him behind bars.
I didn't expect it to happen like this and to happen so quickly.
47-year-old postal worker Sian Andre Spence is facing 3 counts of aggravated animal cruelty. Earlier this week, our animal advocate J.C. Burt's 3 Shih Tzu poodles that were in her fenced-in Lauderhill yard.
Before he even gets to the mailbox, before he even fully gets to our house, he sprays them with pepper spray.
2 days after our story aired, Spence was arrested.
I've been trying all month for something to occur, but it didn't seem like anything was happening.
Police say the crime happened back on January 2nd.
All they do is rub their feet in dirt. I mean, imagine if someone did that.
Happened.
My first response was, "You're a liar," because he initially told me they tried to bite him.
The dogs were then evaluated by a vet.
They're better. I don't let them out anymore unless I'm specifically outside the entire time.
Spence has been employed with the United States Postal Service for about 5 years. Lauderhill police contacted them, the United States Postal, to assisting in the investigation. Green says she's glad that Spence is finally being held accountable for inflicting pain on her puppies.
I feel good because I feel more comfortable because after he did that, he was still around the neighborhood.
The United States Postal Service responding to this arrest, saying that Spence is still employed, but he's not on active duty. That is the latest. Reporting live out of Fort Lauderdale this evening, Sanella Sabovic, Local 10 News.
He was a fucking postal man. What do you mean active duty? He's not a fucking soldier. He's not fucking like in the military. He's a fucking postal man that fucking sprayed little dogs. They did nothing. They were behind the fence. It's not like they were gonna fucking jump over the fence and attack him. Those little precious little babies. Oh man, that's what his punishment. You know what his punishment I would give him? They should spray his motherfucking eyes all like that 3 times a day for 30 days for fucking with the dogs. That's my punishment. It's like, man, we don't want to be in Rick's court. Rick's court, he's fucking tough. I was like, yeah, he's lucky. He's very fucking lucky. All right, let's keep it moving. Oh, more ice. All right, let's see what's up.
Get out of here. Car, we said. Get in your vehicle. Get in your vehicle.
I'm in Minneapolis, where the federal immigration enforcement surge is continuing. This morning, my colleague and I saw reports of agents parked on a block in the north side of the city. We arrived and saw a vehicle idling with a few observers standing at the ends of the block. Eventually, that vehicle left and was followed by a handful of observer vehicles. We followed that, staying a couple hundred feet back, and after a few blocks, noticed a white minivan aggressively driving up behind us with armed agents inside. We pulled over and turned on our hazards to let them pass. They didn't. We eventually continued driving down the street. In front of us, we realized that the lead vehicle with agents had stopped with a couple cars parked behind it. We pulled over to the side and were immediately boxed in by that white minivan. We jumped out with our cameras and walked to the sidewalk.
Get back in your vehicle now. I don't care who you are, get back in your vehicle.
And agents came out of that vehicle, Federal Bureau of Prisons agents, and told us that we would be under arrest if we did not immediately get back in our vehicle.
Yeah, because they're conducting an operation.
I don't know who you think you are. Get in your vehicle.
I don't care who the fuck you are.
Associated Press journalists said we would remain on the sidewalk. Wanted to film what was happening in front of us. We heard the sound of breaking glass as agents shattered the windows of one of the vehicles in front of us.
Get in your vehicle. Don't get out.
We were eventually pushed back into our vehicle and
Yeah, that's where you belong.
We'd be arrested. We could kind of see what was happening up the block in front of us. At least one person.
They're conducting an operation. They don't need your fucking ass in the middle of the way.
Another person was pepper sprayed, and a vehicle was left with a broken window. At least one vehicle was left parked with a broken window. We've seen reports of enforcement action continuing across different parts of Minneapolis.
Yeah, they're gonna continue. What do you think they're gonna stop?
And
are you stupid? And you're in the motherfucking problem because you're in the motherfucking middle of the way when these operations are happening. Like, I don't feel bad for you. I you know what? They should have pepper sprayed your ass too, but they actually had a heart and they didn't do that to you. They told you get the fuck out because we're conducting an operation. You guys are in the motherfucking way. Get out. That's it. That you need to put your foot down. I'm glad Tom Homan is taking over. I am so happy he's taking over because that's one dude. He is not going to put up with this bullshit, and he's going to start arresting all these people that are protesting and acting the fool. Well, guess what? They're going to come after you, and it's not going to be nice. So it's not going to be nice, but it's going to be ice. All right, let's keep it moving. Keep it moving. Oh, boy, what is this? Who's this? Oh, this is the idiot that got shot. Okay. Ooh. What are you doing? Ooh. He kicked the police car? Oh, he broke the tail light of the police car. This is the idiot that they shot.
You are seeing video of a man who's believed to be Alex Preddy kicking a federal agent's SUV 11 days
this is
before
the nurse?
he was killed.
Oh, this
Thanks
is
for
the
joining us.
ICU nurse. He's
An
an
organization named
angel.
the News Movement
What an
captured the
angel.
incident on camera.
This evening, a Homeland Security official says they're aware of the footage and reviewing it. Our Jeff Wagner's here with more of that new video. Jeff.
Frank, the News Movement worked with the BBC, who used facial recognition technology to match Preddy's identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. And then our national confirmed team took a look at it too. TNM was in town shooting a documentary on ICE activity in Minneapolis. They say they got a tip that ICE was blocking the road near East 36th Street and Park Avenue, just a few blocks away from where Renee Good was killed. In the video, the man resembling Preddy appears to spit at the SUV filled with federal agents and yells expletives.
Look,
then
he breaks
kicks out
the
the
taillight.
taillight. That's when agents get out and take him down to the pavement. During the scrum, federal agents fire tear gas and pepper balls
Look
into
at
the
a fucking
crowd. Take a
idiot.
listen.
Look, now he wants to fight and get away. Yo, you just committed a crime, and now everybody's like, no, no. Who's this girl with this one right here, screaming, no, no. Look at this one. What idiots.
After 30 seconds, the man is released, and you can see
Oh,
what
he has a
appears
gun.
to be a gun in a holster on his hip. His outfit, what Preddy was wearing the day he was killed. He sticks around as the camera person retreats while tear gas fills the air. It's soon joy. Important to note here, we don't know what happened before this video started.
Of course you don't,
CBS
'cause
is
you
still
never
working to
fucking
confirm
give
a
the
report
whole
from
news.
CNN that
You only
Preddy
give the
broke a rib
aftermath.
during
You
that
never give the
encounter.
whole story.
As for the shooting that killed him, Homeland
CBS
Security
is a
today
piece of
confirmed
shit.
the two agents who opened fire were placed on leave, Frank.
And we don't know if he was detained after that incident or at the time or just for moments. I guess those are still questions that need to be answered. Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep following this, Jeff. Thank you.
Keep it moving.
New details in the case of a family of four that was killed in San Francisco's West Portal neighborhood in 2024. The driver who crashed into them is pleading for a lesser charge. ABC 7 News reporter Luz Pena spoke with the brother of one of the victims and is following the story for us. Luz.
Yes, Kristen, on Friday, San Francisco judge will decide to either reject or grant a motion by the driver's attorney that would reduce the felony charges to a misdemeanor. The victim's family is asking the judge to study the evidence closely. Almost 2 years after his sister Mathilde, her husband Diego, and their two young children were killed while waiting for their bus to head to the San Francisco Zoo. Luis Ramos Pinto spoke to us about the pain they've endured.
It wasn't just my sister and her family that died. Part of us all died. You know, you become an altered person.
On Friday, a judge will decide to grant or deny the driver Mary Fong Lau's request for her felony charges to be reduced to misdemeanor counts.
We're vehemently against them because no evidence has been provided that would suggest this isn't gross negligence. I would like to see this person tried and be held accountable and responsible for her actions.
In July of 2024, San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins charged Mary Lau with 4 counts of felony vehicular manslaughter. She pleaded not guilty ahead of Friday's hearing. The DA's office confirmed prosecutors have filed a motion opposing that request.
Just misdemeanor charges that would look to us and appear to, I think, most people who will be looking at this as a basic slap on the wrist for having taken 4 lives.
Attorney Jim Quadra represents the victim's family in civil court. They accuse Lau of secretly transferring assets to protect them from their wrongful death lawsuit.
They have admitted to transferring the properties and have how returned some of them.
He said the civil case is on pause as they wait for the criminal case. Quadra is urging the judge to remember Lau was driving over 70 miles an hour in the residential area where she crashed.
She has given no explanation as to why she was driving at that rate of speed, and she didn't make any efforts to veer or stop.
We contacted Mary Lau's attorney multiple times today and were told he was unavailable for interviews or to provide a statement. The victim's family said they will be traveling from Portugal to be here on Friday.
Wow. Keep it moving.
Then a planned sonar search of MacArthur Park Lake was shut down Monday after park rangers stopped the operation and threatened arrests.
A businessman says he was looking for answers, while the city says the search wasn't permitted and raised safety concerns. Jillian Smucker live at MacArthur Park with more. Jillian.
Oh, because they got a lot of hidden shit in that lake.
Micah and
That's
Sharon.
why.
Yeah, a lot
And the
of
police don't want
questions
to do
still
the job.
remain tonight, unfortunately, including what exactly is in the water in MacArthur Park
police
Lake.
don't
What
wanna
I
do
can
their
tell you,
job.
though, is that both sides
That's
today,
why.
after back and forth
They don't want more
discussions with
work.
homeless advocates as well as those park rangers, both sides tell us answers may be coming soon. What started as a search for answers ended before it even began. A planned scan of MacArthur Park Lake was halted yesterday after park rangers told organizers that the search wasn't permitted and could not move forward.
There's evidence down there for crimes, and we'll identify it with photography, and the city's going to have to extract it, and the city will extract it.
Businessman John Alley says he organized the search after hearing persistent rumors, including claims of weapons and possible human remains in the lake. Alley says families of missing people, some last seen near that park, reached out to him personally looking for help.
We want to, for the benefit of the families that live there, that can't drive, that have to pass this park every single day.
Were you given permission?
Yes.
Alley insists he didn't believe a permit was required and says the effort had been planned for weeks. But before any equipment entered the water, park rangers shut it down, issuing a citation and warning of possible arrest. But city officials say that's not exactly what happened.
Nobody ever gave him a permit. As he says, he received permission from somebody in Rexham Parks. He said he received permission from me on Sunday, the day before he went there. That is not true at all.
Chief Park Ranger Joe Lassarelli says organizers were warned ahead of
now
time
it's,
that the operation
Blaine.
lacked required permits and posed potential safety risks. He says the
Safety risks
concern
of
wasn't
what?
about stopping a search, but
a fucking
preventing
dog
damage to
cases?
underwater piping,
That's the safety
including the powerful pump system that feeds the park's large fountain.
If he
What a
got
fucking
any
stupid.
equipment next
stupid.
that, he'd probably lose it or maybe even.
They don't want to do their job.
He also says if there are legitimate concerns about
look at all these
missing
homeless people in
that
the
law
park.
enforcement should be involved.
If there's a loved one that's looking for their family members or somebody, they feel that somebody's
But I don't
deceased
live in
there, they can go to the police station and they can report that. He should not be taking that into his own hands.
This controversy comes as MacArthur Park remains a flashpoint for
I've been
complaints
to that
about
park
crime,
before.
homelessness, and open drug use.
It's full of homeless
Just across
people.
the street, business owners say the conditions are taking a toll.
Overdose on overdose practically every night. I've called the ambulance a
the
couple
park
of times
rangers
for
are
people
more
overdosing.
worried
Had to do
about
chest
equipment
compressions.
being in the lake than the
It's
fucking homeless
pretty
people
insane.
He says while he doesn't know what's in the lake, he believes the broader problems surrounding the
doing the
park are
drugs in the
being
park.
ignored.
Okay, stop those guys, right? See people hunched over, bent over, passed out, overdosed. It's insanity.
Ali says
Look at
he
that.
plans to work with the city, apply for those permits, and then return.
We'll do everything we can to facilitate this. We want to follow the rules. If the park rangers want to change the story now and say, we'll help you with the permits, I'll pick them up and we'll drive over there together.
They're not gonna do that.
Well,
Nice
there you
try.
go. You just heard both sides exactly what went into this process, but it does seem like there will be some answers coming soon. I'm told that Park Ranger
Ooh.
says if they do go through the process, get the required permit, and there is no safety hazard, then they will sign
No
off on
safety
that
hazard.
search.
Bitch,
Reporting
they've been
live in
doing this
MacArthur
shit
Park,
forever.
Julian Smuckler, KTLA 5 News.
You know how many
Julian,
other
thank you.
places these people have gone to extract bodies, cars, weapons that are more dangerous than your stupid little lake that has a stupid pump. Like it has a stupid pump that sucks in water for the fountain, and that's the hazard. Are you kidding me? Out of the whole motherfucking lake, you're worried about one motherfucking pump that sucks in water for your little fountain. I'll tell you, I thank God I don't live in California. I live in Connecticut. It's about as horrible as California, but it's at least small that it's not as big and stupid. And I'm not governed by Gavin Newsom. Ugh, that motherfucker is the worst. Good luck with your permits. I doubt if they're going to approve them. I truly doubt they're going to approve them. All right, let's keep it moving. We got more to watch. What the hell is this? A NASA plane crash landing at Texas airport? Where's the wheels? This is the NASA plane? What they were doing in the air. Oh shit! Woo! Yo, you can't throttle back? Oh my god, look at this whole runway. Well, thank you, NASA. Thank you for this whole and me with copyright. But look at this shit. Another plane crash. I guess it's a phenomenon, right? This past 2 year has been the worst of aviation ever. I mean, the stretch of airplane crashes is phenomenal. It's just disturbing. It's disturbing that all these accidents continue to happen on pretty much on a yearly, monthly basis. We just had a plane crash up here in Maine. We had a small plane crash, and 7 people died out of the 8. The 8th one is in severe. It's in a real severe condition, and who knows if he's going to survive or not. It'll be a miracle if he survives, but I bet he has a tale to tell us. But NASA, man, you guys can't even get your fucking planes to land properly, and you expect Optimus, your little rocket that you have in Florida, to make it to around the moon? I think this is full of shit. How are you gonna expect to go around the moon if you can't even fucking land a plane? Get out of here with your bullshit. Fucking NASA's full of shit. It's full of shit. That's NASA. Never a straight answer. Let's keep it moving. All right, what's this? Oh, this is the helicopter with the plane. Oh my god, we got a video from inside the helicopter.
American 16, third to 1 star 32014, Gulf 25, traffic 2 mile low base runway 33, no delay, runway 1 clear for immediate takeoff. Muscle 70 request. Most of you say route 3 to zone 6. Most 7 approved.
So, good evening. Air Care 1's with you. Single medevac helicopter 1,000 feet, 29901 on the altimeter. Requesting zone 6 for Fairfax.
Medevac Air Care 1, Washington Star, National altimeter 290. Approved to Washington class, Robert Space Portland, insured at Fairfax.
29090 for Air Care 1, copy.
Pat 25, the CRJ in flight.
This is big.
Pat 25, pass bond is CRJ.
This club has a aircraft inside precision separation.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure they could see everything because this is coming from within the inside of
American 472.
Oh shit! You saw that?
Medevac Air Care 1, Washington Star, National altimeter 290.
Right to the plane.
Approved to Washington class, Robert Space Portland, insured at Fairfax. Pat 25, the CRJ in flight. Pat 25, pass bond is CRJ.
And this is from the plane. The helicopter. This is the plane, and the helicopter is going to go right in front of the plane.
American 4782, my pass number and visual.
Yeah, American more than enough time. Wait, look at this. Motherfuckers.
Medevac Air Care 1, Washington Star, National altimeter 290. Approved to Washington class, Robert Space Portland, insured at Fairfax.
29090 for Air Care 1, copy.
Pat 25, the CRJ in flight. Pat 25, pass bond is CRJ.
This club has a aircraft inside precision separation.
There it is, and that's the end of they're both are going to collide, right?
4782, my pass number and visual.
American 472, Washington Star, 1 star 20117.
Damn. They had no chance. No chance. Let's go to Benny Johnson.
What's up, guys? Benny. Nothing. I mean, nothing backfires harder than a Somali press conference. These are the rules of the universe. Every single time a Somali fraudster gets up in front of the media, they end up doing more damage to themselves, and it ends in absolute hilarity and viral dragging that goes on for days. Like one of these scumbag daycare manager kids, this guy, who said that his daycare was robbed and the burglars stole his employment records and the charts that they used to check in all of the non-existent kids. That's what happened. And we should all feel sorry for him.
Pity
Keep
the
giving him more
son?
federal tax dollars so
Diddy?
he can buy more
Is that Diddy's son?
$3,000 pairs of designer glasses. That he's
Damn.
wearing right here. Did the fraud pay for your glasses?
Damn.
Expensive pair of glasses. Glasses I'm wearing right here cost about $50. How about the Minnesota mom, quote unquote, who panics after saying fraud is bad in her script?
Unable to work or go to school. I understand. Fraud is bad.
Oh my. Oh, I'm so sorry. You said fraud is bad. You're not allowed to say that. Fraud is actually good in your community.
Damn,
What a
look at
mistake.
Diamond.
She couldn't even keep speaking and had to run away.
fraud is
And all
bad.
of the liberal white women surrounding her and
True.
her 5-carat diamond ring.
Damn.
We're very sympathetic. You can see right here. Look at that. Oh, look at you like a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Damn, that's the biggest
Anyway,
diamond.
here we go. They're clapping for her.
How the
And
fuck
everybody
did he
deserves a
afford
round of
that
applause
big-ass diamond?
for these incredible acting jobs that they're all doing. This is Nasra Ahmed, who alleges that she was kidnapped by ICE and that they called her naughty words and that they hurt her, leading to this gigantic, comically
she has
gigantic
gums for days.
bandage prop
Look
that's
at those
falling
gums.
off of her head here.
What she did was to put a
Careful
Band-Aid on her head.
who your heroes
U.S.
are,
citizen.
because Nasra went viral for all the wrong
your
reasons.
gums.
Eesh. When people started listening to some of the words that she was saying and said, that don't make any sense, right?
So I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali.
So is this...
to me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice.
Please inform us. What is
Bananas
being
with
Somali? Tell us
I eat
more.
bananas with
Nasra.
rice.
You know,
They're called
people don't
plantain.
really
They're
see,
called maluro.
like, you know,
Sweet plantain.
it's, you know, people don't think, oh, you can eat bananas with rice, but
Hey,
that's what it's like
you
to be
eat bananas
Somali
with
and
rice?
American. It's like that
They're called sweet
combination
plantains, you
of
dummy.
banana and rice, but you're gonna get what I mean.
She's so stupid.
Are we? Are we going to get it? You know, Nasra is going to have an amazing time thinking about bananas and rice. Maybe she'll be able to eat bananas and rice because Nasra Ahmed was just arrested. That's right. Let's read from Pam. I'm on the ground in Minneapolis today. Federal agents have arrested 16 Minneapolis riders for assaulting federal law enforcement. We expect more arrests to come. People who have been resisting and impeding federal law enforcement will be arrested. Nothing will stop President Trump, Department of Justice, from enforcing the law. Here we go. These are the names of people
I gotta
arrested
light up.
under 18
I'm
U.S.
sorry,
Code
it's
111, assaulting, resisting, impeding
been a long
certain
night
federal
already.
employees. Nasra's on there. Please tell me we get a Nasra mugshot, please. Oh, no. We threaded the mugshot, so let's look. Okay. Guy with a mask, on brand. Dude with a broken arm, on brand. Okay. All right. Yep. Becky, on brand too. Let's keep going. We got, on brand here. Love the leg irons. Very good. Good look. Let's continue.
What the hell is that?
Perfect.
That's a day done?
Yeah. Way to go. All right. And again,
Who is this
nice
winner?
leg irons. Look at you.
Wow.
Look at you. You got yourself a rap album there, buckaroo. Let's keep going. Here's another Becky. Hello, Becky. Oh, no, Becky is crying. Oh, and there it is.
Oh, look at this. Look who it is.
Bananas and rice. Nasra.
Damn.
Got it. Where's the leg irons? Nasra. Oh, no. What are you going to be serving? And this dude, he was in leg irons. It's so funny. There you go. Look at that. They actually got her. They got her.
Wow.
Sure, there'll be plenty of bananas in prison. I don't actually know.
She can make banana
Nasra,
bread in prison.
what will
I
be
love
happening to
bread.
you? But it doesn't
Who
look
doesn't
like you're
like
going to be
banana
having a
bread?
great time. You're going to jail,
I
Becky.
love banana bread.
The internet is celebrating
I
now.
was little.
And Nasra Ahmed, bananas and
Why
rice,
did you
just
do
got
this
arrested.
She would make
They'll
it
have
from Michigan.
bananas and rice.
She would make it from Michigan and
Video
and
shows
go
Nasra Ahmed
down to
spitting
Florida.
on federal agents.
Bring it.
You can see here
That was
Nasra
awesome.
Ahmed deciding to spit up all over federal agents, spitting on them.
Oh, that's
one
why she
after
got
another.
arrested.
You know, they all have body
Oh.
cameras, Nasra. You think the body cameras were being blocked by all the bananas and rice? Maybe she was spitting bananas and rice on them. Don't know. But OMFG, the bananas and rice girl, was just arrested for assaulting federal
Damn.
officers. Also, if you're spitting on them,
What an
which
idiot.
I hate to do this to you, but could you imagine that spitting on you? Ugh.
He isn't just eating bananas with rice.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
talk with her teeth.
That's a federal offense.
She talks with her teeth like
Ahmed, the woman known as bananas
do
and
that.
rice,
it hurts
has
my
been
mouth.
arrested.
Oh my god, my jaw's hurt.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Damn, my jaw hurts.
This is the sacred timeline. Infamous bananas and rice girl has been arrested for assaulting law enforcement. Bananas and rice girl. Oh yes, it is. So exciting. Everyone's saying BAR, bananas and rice girl mugshot. BAR. We got a nickname for her.
Damn.
And nothing
BAR.
happens. Nothing ever happens. Well, they just arrested the bananas and rice chick. Wait, is that the bananas and rice girl? You can't make this up.
Got arrested.
Not smiling anymore, huh? Take that. Those flapping jowls. Take those flapping jowls and shut them up. Where's your bandage?
Yeah, what happened to the bandage?
Nasra? Where is it? Where'd it go? Where's that gigantic comical prop bandage? I don't understand. Where is it? I was told that all these horrible things happened to her. That's what she told me at this big press conference. Oh man, valedictorian of the Quality Leering Center. It's what happens when you inbreed, folks. IQ estimate 75.
Did she go to the Leering Center?
IQ 68 on display in all of its glory. Is this real? Oh man. Bananas and rice. Did she marry her brother? Oh man. The bro just waiting to leave the press conference.
Damn, that's crazy.
Oh no. That's why they call him. That's why they call her
fraud.
Jesse Somaliette.
She's a fraud.
Got what I voted for again. Got what I
What
voted for
a
again.
clown. Look at that face. Imagine you have to wake up every day and see this face. Oh Lord. And especially those gums. I mean, at least her teeth is very straight. I mean, she doesn't like our teeth are supposed to look like that. I don't know. My teeth don't look like that. Those teeth look like I don't know. It just don't look right. Something's not right with this picture, and we could tell. We could see it right in your eyes, girl. You can't hide those secrets. You got a lot of deep secrets in that head, and you're gonna go back to your country because you don't deserve to be here. You truly don't deserve to be here. And with that said, we're gonna keep it moving to Liberal Hive Mind.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day, brought to you by 5mind.com. Well, that was quick and certainly doesn't reinforce the narrative that leftoids are pushing all over social media. It appears Tim Walz now has more problems on his plate, and it's not just the inquiries, it's not just the partisan problems, I guess we call it, coming from the other side. No, now it's coming from his own side. As we know, Tim Walz has slowly started to come to his senses, although I'm still convinced that there's an angle here. Democrats never never do the right thing unless they feel they're gaining from it, or they could, play some sort of game, some sort of angle. But anyways, to a certain extent, Tim Walz is promising to coordinate with President Trump to quell down the chaos and do things in an orderly or more orderly fashion. And instantaneously, not 24 hours later after this announcement comes and after the crackdown starts, the leftist mob instantly turns on him like the ungrateful, friggin' deranged psychos they are, after he's done their bidding for so long and allowed them to foment chaos across the state, engage in felonies, basically unimpeded. They've now turned on him as the new public enemy number one. Once again, we're seeing exactly what's going on the left. We're seeing the problem here. These Democrats allow this chaos, first off, for optics reasons, and secondly, because, well, the radical, unhinged leftist mob will turn on them if they don't. This is absolutely wild. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So I know you guys have probably been reading the headlines and, seeing all the leftist actors all over social media claiming that Donald Trump has surrendered. Tim Walz wins. Game over. Trump surrenders. He's pulling out of the state and firing all his top officials. Now, first of all, that's completely bogus. But secondly, if that was the case, then why are leftists on the streets so mad at Tim Walz? You'd expect them to do a victory lap, not hunting for Tim Walz's frickin' head. And now that Tim Walz is signaling coordination with the Trump administration, look what's happening with the leftist mob. Obviously, the left hasn't won here. No, quite to the contrary. Sure, the media is making that claim, but it couldn't be further from the truth. And the proof is in the crackdown that's now happening on these leftist agitators on the streets. Look at the scenes.
You are now under arrest. Please sit down and wait for instruction.
All right, why don't you move out there, okay? Just get out there. Stay outside the line, okay? Coming out. Coming out. Off to the side. Open chair right next to Charlie Kirk and Dick Crane.
They've made multiple arrests.
Yeah, Minneapolis police officers are finally grouping up and cracking down on these anti-ICE idiots. They're finally engaging in crowd control measures, which they should have been doing since day one. I guess now people are going to learn just how freaking easy this was, how this should have happened since day one. Now, all of a sudden, the crackdowns begin. And it's funny, the timing here. Tim Walz was presenting himself as some sort of revolutionary. He was going to go to war with the feds. Remember, he was saying he was going to sic the National Guard on those federal agents. And I guess that attitude continued until, of course, a couple people died. But most coincidentally, in terms of the timing, he kept that act up until Signalgate appeared. All the signal chats showing the coordinated efforts on the streets, what was happening. And then, of course, the implication that a lot of the administrators of these groups were actually working in his administration. And please do not downplay that scandal. It's a massive freaking bombshell, probably one of the biggest, probably number two, after the Somali fraud that Tim Walz is embroiled in. But now that all of that is exposed, all of a sudden, little tampon Timothy here finally wants to send the police to do their jobs with these rioters. What a strange coincidence. Again, it really shows you how easy this was and how the chaos was being allowed, and proof the Democrats in the state were holding back purposely. They were giving these police departments a stand down order, which we covered. We had the evidence for. We saw the Minneapolis police, Hennepin County as well, ordering their police officers not to aid in protecting ICE from violent offenders. They were doing it on purpose, and now they're finally doing their job. Once again, it's proof that everything these Democrats do is about optics and politics. They allowed it to continue until two people were killed, or two people rather got themselves killed, which of course was probably part of the plan, as Jacob Fry prophesized. And once they locked in those two victims, they locked in the narrative, and now they want to cooperate. Now, as their hands are getting dirty and people are realizing they're freaking in on it, now they want to pretend as if they've been willing to negotiate since day one, always playing a freaking angle, always trying to get their little optics victory. The clip from yesterday with Tim Walz, I think, really said the quiet part out loud.
What do we need to do to get these federal agents out of our state? You thought fear, violence, and chaos is what you wanted from us, and you clearly underestimated the people of this state and nation. If it was the intention of Donald Trump to make an example of Minnesota, then I'm damn proud of the example that the world's seeing.
They got the optics, and now they're making a shift, and instantly, you know they're up to something. You know they're up to no good, and you can tell because they're already instantly trying to politicize it and spin the frickin' narrative, acting as if Donald Trump is backing down. But of course, he's not. This notion is idiotic and manipulative. Typical left-wing narrative spin BS. No, Donald Trump is not surrendering. In fact, I'd argue he's once again proving that he's the only honest person in the damn room when it comes to this high-stakes politics stuff. They're all playing an angle, but Trump is simply doing what's right and simply keeping his word. He said on day one, if Minnesota officials actually cooperated, then it wouldn't really need to be so chaotic. If they quelled the chaos on the streets, you wouldn't need so many ICE agents. You wouldn't need such a, let's call it, militaristic presence. And now it appears that they're seemingly starting to do the right thing, helping just a little bit. And so Trump is trying to find a solid middle ground here. He wants to continue the work, but he also wants things to be calm and not get out of hand. And you know what? He probably knows that he's giving the Democrats the headline that they want in a certain way. It's going to be used against him, but clearly he doesn't care. He's doing the right thing and pivoting when is necessary, when it's fair, despite what the headlines are going to read. That's not a back down. That's not a surrender. I think actually it's Donald Trump kind of dialing the control to get it just right.
Is this a pullback?
I don't think it's a pullback. It's a little bit of a change. Everybody in this room that has a business, you know, you make little changes. When I watch some of the people that I've been watching over the last few weeks, these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid agitators. These people are normal, like OG, that, you know, they're incensed about anything. How do you get incensed when you go into a state and you're taking criminals out? You're taking monsters out.
It's certainly not a pullback. It's the responsible thing to do. Obviously, a crackdown in Minnesota was totally necessary, considering all the insane cases of fraud, especially relating to immigration fraud. Then you have all the chaos being pushed and enabled by Democrats. You've got the sanctuary city BS. You've got them releasing criminals in mass on the streets. Trisha McLaughlin from DHS, I think, puts it into clear perspective.
My understanding is he's being a little bit misleading here, or a lot misleading, by saying that those 1,360 criminal legal aliens are not sitting in the county and city jails, which is exactly where they are. We know that last year, under Walz's leadership, that those city and county jails released 470 criminal legal aliens. So again, what the president, what Secretary Noem have been asking for is that level of cooperation before they release a criminal legal alien onto the streets, to give us notification so that we can come and pick them up and they're not going back onto the street to re-perpetuate crimes against Americans. And secondly, when we are seeing rioters, we're seeing things spiral out of control, assaults, obstruction of law enforcement, which is federal crime, as we've mentioned before, that those state and local governments and law enforcement are allowed to answer our calls for backup so no one gets hurt.
They're freaking releasing illegal alien criminals back onto the streets. And so clearly it was necessary to have the heightened alert, the heightened approach. And now, again, that it appears Tim Walz and Jacob Fry are going to be coordinating to a certain extent, well, it's just not necessary to have such a heavy hand. In fact, it should never be necessary. All of this stuff should be pretty simple and mostly procedural. And now I'm just hoping we could get the point across. This is not a surrender. It's not a capitulation. And no, I don't think the mass deportations and frankly, even the crackdown on Minneapolis are coming to an end. No, Tom Homan instead is coming in and taking control. Now's the time to keep spearheading this, just possibly in a different, more toned down way. And the most important job here is now projecting to the people that we're the side of common sense. We're the side of compromise. We're the side doing the right thing. And Democrats are the ones who are playing politics with people's lives. They're the ones using their propagandized idiot activists as freaking cannon fodder on the front lines, while Trump is simply trying to save people's lives and frankly, I'd argue save the country. I think it's very obvious that we are not the same. And now's the time to figure out, optically and in terms of messaging, how to make that point abundantly clear. But it's also not the time to get played. We got to figure out a way to stay ahead of the curve here because clearly Democrats are scheming something behind the scenes. There's a next angle, a next jump. Because again, as I mentioned in the intro, they never do the right thing unless they absolutely have to from an optics perspective or unless they're playing some sort of angle. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one.
All right. So we're going to keep on going on with the show. Next, Melody King.
So newly uncovered footage from 2 weeks ago shows a man the BBC believes to be Alex Preddy spitting at ICE agents and kicking out a tail light on their SUV. The peaceful protester narrative may have been blown. But I go deeper with this, guys. I'm going to show you something else in a second, but take a look at this video that just came out.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Preddy interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. On the morning of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36 and Park Avenue in Minneapolis. We arrived around 10:15 a.m. We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles. When they started driving away, the man kicked their taillight. An agent then got out of the vehicle, grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground. During the altercation, agents fired tear gas and pepper balls into the crowd. They continued to hold the man down before they retreat, and he walks away.
Why did they not arrest him, though? That makes zero sense.
The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what
Like,
Preddy
why are
was
these
wearing
people
on the day he
screaming?
was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
First of all, why was he not arrested? If he was arrested, he probably would be alive today. Oh, that's bullshit. That's crazy.
Here, he continues to stand at the scene. On the day he was killed, the Department of Homeland Security claims Preddy, a 37-year-old ICU nurse, approached officers holding a handgun. That claim has been contradicted by analysis of bystander videos from multiple news investigations, which concluded that Preddy was holding a phone, not a gun, when he was pinned to the street. Shortly after the altercation we filmed here on January 13th, federal agents drove away. Soon after that, we left the scene.
Whoo, child. But outside of that, so he's kicking in the car, going absolutely nuts. I have never seen someone kick the entire tail light off, like the entire unit. I've seen people smash, but not kick, like get the whole unit off. Now we know, I don't know if you guys seen this, but it appears MSNBC gave Alex Preddy a tan, a stronger jawline, better teeth, shorter forehead, and a nose job to make him look hotter. They broadened his shoulders, thickened his neck, and even gave him biceps, guys. Look at what they did with altering that. But that's not the only altered photo.
What the
and I
fuck?
have something crazy to show you. It says all the major news outlets shared a fake image of Alex Preddy, knowing it wasn't real. The journalism in America is just wokeism with a pen. So this guy doesn't even have a head. Look, there's no head. There's a whole bunch wrong with this, but this is the main thing, guys. Are you seeing this? Let me make
where's
it
the head?
even bigger. Let me move this over. Oh, I can't move it over. Let me go into this. Look,
Yeah, there's no head.
the man doesn't have a head, guys.
So
And this is the image.
pictures
But
are
that is
doctored.
not the worst part, because I'm gonna just tell you, I think with Renee Good, just like with George Floyd and so many other things that we're seeing happening, I think they're all psyops. If you start to put the clues together,
where
and you
is his
start
head?
to put
I see a
pieces together,
hand.
we are having so many psyops, meaning these are psychological operations
Yo,
meant to
look at
stir
this
up
shit.
chaos and to create
Yo, this is
disorder,
trippy. I'm not
order
high
out of
enough yet. I just
chaos.
started smoking.
Okay, this
I
is what they
started
want,
smoking. Hold
and
on,
this
Melody.
video is going to help open your eyes to it all, because
Girl,
is
she's going
Alex
too fast. She's going too fast for me, Melody. I'm not high enough. Girl, give me a break. Hold on. It's my mind over your matter. It's not Melody King. I love Melody King. Trust me. I love her reporting. I love her energy. I love how spiritual she is. She's just real. She's just a real person, and it's so cool to have more individuals like that in the world. But I'm not high enough yet. Am I high and I'm tripping and I'm not seeing no head? I see a hand with a ring. It looks like a ring. And the way that they're holding the gun, like what's going on here? You know, and this guy has a bald spot. He has like two entrants coming into his scalp, and then he has the bald spot in the back. And yet they try to make this dude look sexy. Shit, the way AI is these days, we don't even know if any of these motherfucking pictures are real. We don't know if it's real. Like, look. It's a headless like agent. It's headless. And yet the media ran with this. Who knows if this picture's even real? Like, that's why you need to let this develop, let them investigate, let them do their fucking job before rushing to conclusion. You want to know the evidence from the beginning to the motherfucking end. Don't give me just the end and then tell me, oh, rush to judge what you think. No. I want to see the whole motherfucking story. I want to see what happened from before all the way to his last breath. How about that? Is that so hard? The motherfucker was out protesting possibly every fucking day with these Marxists out there. And what's their point? What are they going to achieve? What is their goal? What is your goal? The train of truth is here, and the trains out there are going crazy. It's just I hear the trains. I love them. I love to hear the trains. But what was the goal here? You know, because ICE is not killing black people in these images. They're killing white people. So all of a sudden, the Black Lives Matters have to change from identity. They're like, oh shit, fuck, all these white people are dying. Is it too late to change and let's bring in the White Lives Matter? The White Lives Matter. Because the two people that got shot up were white. Okay? And let's not play stupid, because even you have Black Lives Matter people go storming into a church and disrupt the service. And then they're like, and then Don Lemon trying to play it like, oh, I'm a journalist. I'm just getting the report. Renee Good. What's her name? Renee Good. You can hear it in the fucking video of him screaming it. This country needs a hard lesson. They need to learn what accountability is. And this country has lost that a long time ago. They need to get their shit straight. If not, we're fucked. This is gonna spiral into like the Twilight Zone, which I'm already in. I already know I'm in the episode, the Upside Down of the Twilight Zone. I already died and came back alive. I think I'm on borrowed time, and I'm just witnessing all the crazy shit that I would have missed if I did when I died in the hospital. So it's like, it's just ever since that day, ever since I like literally died and I was resuscitated back after a good long session of chest compressions and being zapped about 3 times. They hit me 2 times with an epidural. The first one didn't work, but the second one did. I remember because I heard everything. It's like people think when you die, you lose all your senses. Like, no, you get to still hear. You hear everything going on. even though your heart stops and everything's just starting to shut down, your hearing still continues. They still hear you. So your loved ones do hear you when they do die and you're by their bedside. They do hear them, like hear you speak, because I heard everything and my heart stopped and they were fighting to keep me alive. And I got lucky that the second epidural worked. It raced up my arm. I felt it go in my stream and right to my heart, and then I felt my heart like kick back. I wasn't able to speak. I was out. They put me the next thing when I heard and I talked about this story so many times on my channel. I put up 1,000 videos on here. I've been hustling this year, actually the end of last year into this year. So hopefully the numbers comes up. I'm at 530 something, so it is gradually increasing, which is good. It's a sign that we have a pulse, and we're growing, we're expanding. But I'll never forget because I saw everything from above. I saw everything from out of body experience, and I saw myself, everything that was going on. Literally, like the light was back there, and I was looking down, and I wasn't leaving my side. And I fought through all the stuff that they fucking try to do to me, and that second epidural, it came in, and I felt it come in, and I felt myself back inside of me, and then my heart started up again, and then I heard the doctor say, medically induced, and they put me in a coma. And I was in a coma, and I was in ICU for a good amount of time. But I woke up from my coma, and the nurses almost took a shit when she saw me, and I was ripping the cords off of me because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And they rushed in and they grabbed my hands and they like held them down, and they're like, they took all the stuff off of me, like, and instantly interrogated, instant interrogation. They're asking me who's the president of the United States. I said another name. I know I went. I forgot. I know I said this story so many times. It's like I went from like Kennedy, and then they were like, no. And I just couldn't really think so much, And I was like, I was so confused. Like, like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. When I said Kennedy, they freaked the fuck out. The nurse looked at each other. They both looked at each other, and they're like, no. Like, and the doctor came in, and they were like, all right, we're going to give you we're going to help you. I'm like, all right. And I was just so lost. They're like, the president's black. And I looked at both of them like, what? I was so fucking confused. I was like, we had a black president? And then, like, I was going through the names, like, in my head. And then I was like, oh, Obama. And then they're like, oof, like, sad of relief. Like, holy shit. But that was a crazy experience, man. That's just so fucking weird. But ever since that day, and I started up my YouTube channel, I was more very like into the psychic stuff, which I'm still am. I'm still am. I'm just taking a long break from it because it is overwhelming. It does. A lot of people has a lot of strong energy and energies, and they tend to stick on you, and when you have too much, you get overworked, you get overwhelmed, and you get burnt out from all that energy. And that's kind of what happens to me once I'm too overwhelmed. I just gotta back away from everyone and just keep to myself. And I rejuvenate, and I'm back on here, and I'm more into the media stuff because I think we should learn the truth. The truth is very important. And if we can't speak out and express ourselves, then what's the purpose? What's the purpose? But people do still watch, and I think the ones that do watch, and if you got into this point of the show, is 2 hours and 20. It was 22, but now 23 minutes. Congratulations! Thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it, and many, many, many good luck for you to come. For those who watch, I truly appreciate it. And let's continue with Manny King here, and I'll try not to interrupt anymore. My story, I said it so many times. You have to find it somewhere. It's kind of like Find Waldo at this point, because there's like 1,000 videos, and it's like way back there in the histories. I mean, we're talking about years and years and years and years and years. So I spoke about this story so many times, and it's just it overwhelms me sometimes, just because it plays back, because I have really bad PTSD, and I remember being upside down. Like, I remember, like, when I was in my coma, like, I remember everything was just black. Like, not black, but like black and white. But like the hospital was kind of like abandoned. Like the hospital was no longer, it was just really dark, and it was like just black and white. And I would hear these weird sounds, like kind of like a monster type sounds that was coming from their place. But I didn't stay there. Like, I don't know how long I was really in the coma. I never really asked, because I really didn't want to know. Because it's already scary that they put you in a coma. You know what I mean? You're already scared as it is. And then dealing with family bullshit too. Like, right after getting out of fucking coma, like, really pissed me the fuck off that I sent a lot of people to hell, and I cursed them. I cursed them all. And I wasn't putting up with their shit. I died and came back, and I have to deal with family bullshit. Get the fuck out. Yeah, I kicked them all out of the fucking room. There was a lot of people there too, and I kicked them all the fuck out. I remember that. I wasn't playing. They actually had to put a 1-to-1 on me to protect the family from me, because I wanted to attack them. And I threw some stuff at them. I threw a chair. I threw some hardware at them. And they all deserved it. Motherfuckers. They only come to you when you're dying, but they never come to you where you're alive. Go fuck yourselves. You know what I mean? And I hope they get to watch this. If not, they're listening to what I'm saying, because they're dead to me. So, yeah, I've been through a lot, and I keep on moving forward. I don't dwell, you know what I mean? I try to set an example. Move forward, keep prospering. Don't stay stuck in the fucking mud, because you ain't going to go nowhere that way. And with that said, let's go back to Melody King.
Pretty even real? Was Renee Good even real? It just seems so, I don't know. And notice that this is only happening in Minneapolis as a distraction away from all the fraud that was recently uncovered tied directly to Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz.
Okay, so Renee Good and Alex Pretty were both 37 years old. They both had adjectives as their last names. They both have positive sounding names. Makes a pretty good story, huh? Both of the addresses where they were shot add up to 13. Renee was at 3325 Portland Ave, and Alex was at 2614 Nicolette Ave. Alex and his parents both live in Colorado. Renee is also from Colorado. They were both shot between 9 and 10 a.m. Renee was shot near a street called Nicolette. Alex was shot on a street called Nicolette, right next to Good Grocer and also Good Dwelling. Her name was Renee Nicole Good, and this is on Nicolette Street. This is a sign that was behind where Alex Pretty was shot. Notice the upside down star? Well, there was also an upside down star right behind where Renee was shot. And this symbol also happens to be a Masonic symbol. This one right here, a star with a crescent moon and a pendant body of Freemasonry. This building was previously occupied by Smart Therapy Center. It was a fraudulent autism program, and there was a $14 million fraud scheme. This is the business that now occupies this building, New American Development Center, New America. This is almost like a statement that he was shot and killed in front of something that says New America. The sign was there when he got shot, but if you go to Google Earth now, the sign is gone. They were both shot just 2 miles away from each other. Renee was shot within 1 mile of the George Floyd incident. And Renee's family hired the same lawyer that Floyd's family hired. It says here Alex's birthday was 6/1/1988, and these numbers add up to 33. Renee had 3 kids whose ages add up to 33. Renee was shot on the 3300 block of Portland Avenue. There's an alleged witness who lives near 33rd in Portland, and they mentioned how the ICE officer that shot her needed 33 stitches due to another incident. Now on Google Earth, they've recently blurred out all of the houses around where Renee was shot. And I know it was recent because this is a screenshot that was taken just a few days ago. And notice how there's only 2 dates to choose from. But if you go right up the street, then there's multiple dates to choose from up to 2025. Anywhere else you go, there's multiple dates to choose from. So why are these houses now blurred out, and why is there only 2 dates? Now let's look at this picture real quick. Does this look normal to you? Where's this guy's head? This is a screenshot taken. Where is his head? And they said Alex had his phone in his hand. Does that look like a phone to you? What is that? What about this guy's weapon right here? Where's the rest of it? Does that look normal? Where's this guy's hands? Why can't we see any hands? And why would your hand even be in there? And what's going on down here with where this guy's foot is supposed to be? Why does it look like a camera or something? What is that? There's supposed to be a foot right there. Nothing about this looks normal. Now, this is the guy that allegedly disarmed Alex Pretty. He doesn't say anything after he disarms him. The guy just runs off silent. And does this look normal to you anyway? Explain to me what about this looks normal at all. Can he even see? And why is his, I guess, hood just like melted to his face? Like, what is that? This doesn't look normal in the slightest bit. Now let's look at this real quick. Watch this guy's hand, his left hand. Does that look normal? Can your hand do that? When you're reaching down for something, does your hand ever just bend backwards like that? Look at his fingers. That type of stuff doesn't happen. And this is one of the clearest videos I could find. And then notice how when you zoom in, it gets all pixelated. This is so that they can blame stuff like this on compression or whatever the fuck. The videos that you take with your phone do not do this when you zoom into them. Look at his fingers. That looks normal? You're gonna tell me that that looks entirely normal? And this is just one example that I'm showing. These glitches are everywhere in the videos. But because they've intentionally taken away your attention spans, you're no longer able to pay attention to details. You no longer have the patience to put pieces together and figure anything out. And does this even look normal? Why is the blue of his shirt on his neck right there? Why is the bottom of his ear right here see-through? Why is there red on the other ear coming off the flag? You know what? Sure, this was just for educational and entertainment purposes only.
And with that as well, guys, well, guess where the Quality Leering Center is? The Minnesota Department of Human Services confirmed that Quality Leering Center on Nicolette Avenue is officially closed.
Damn.
All of these happening on Nicolette. Like, nothing is a coincidence. You have to look beyond the news, the headlines, all of this. Guys, I believe we are being fed psyop slop. I don't know what the purpose is. I know it is a great distraction. I know it is creating a war. And I don't even know if these people are real or not. If they are, God bless. But to me, it just doesn't. It's just not making sense. None of it is making sense. And there's even a video, I was trying to find it. I think I played it before. You can see Renee Good's hand as she's like in the car. This is how you know about AI a lot too. her fingers these two fingers just start merging together to like one finger. It does not look, and no, there's no pixelation or the camera compressing it and doing all that. That would not make a hand do that. But you know what would? AI would. So guys, let me know what you think below. You guys know I come up with a lot of conspiracy theories, but at least I wanted to show you that footage. I let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think it's a psyop? Because if you do your research, you'd be shocked at how much we have been lied to. Our entire history is a lie. I've been telling you that. But anyway, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you very shortly.
Wow, thank you for that upload, Melody. That's Melody King. Like I said, man, I feel like I died, I came back, and now I'm just like witnessing everything like upside down, and what's good is bad and what's bad is good. And we have like, I don't know, would you call that deja vu? I mean, 3 of the same name for like the Leering Center and for the good where she got shot and where this fellow got shot too. They're all from Nicolette. Like, just very, 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 like, I feel like it's a ritual. You know what I mean? I feel like they need to like sacrifice a certain, like, to get what they want, like to level up in a certain way, and they use others to accomplish this. Man, there's a lot of weird shit that a lot of humanity doesn't even fucking understand or know. Like, there's so much that it's out of our hands. We live in illusion. Everything is an illusion. You know, we still gotta survive the illusion, you know. But it's just a moment. It's just a moment because we'll go to another frequency, and then we go to another form. So it's like we'll keep mutating along the way, and I just feel like there's just, you know, they always bring this alien talk, right? And now how the aliens, now Washington believes in it, and now they're having all this investigation and panels, and they're speaking in Congress and speaking to the Senate about the aliens and all this. They've always been here. They never fucking left. They're always here, you know? And just look at the leaders. A lot of them, look how they look, and you know who's who and what's what. And you know, the people I don't trust is the ones that I have a red flag on. Elon. I have that's a bullseye right there. People not even picking up on him. I'm like, that dude really is an alien. He's came out of nowhere, right? It's like, who comes out of nowhere and just becomes the world's richest man? And it's like, but then when he talks to you, it's like you feel like you need to be on LSD or something, because sometimes he's just all over the place. And then I don't know. Something about him, like red flags. A lot of red flags. You know, he tried to sell you on the illusion. That's the thing. You know, he makes people, you know, he's very good at trying to make people believe. You know, if he really wants to get on my side and my good side, pay my attorney fees and let's sue YouTube. Let's sue YouTube. Let's sue Google. Let's bring back real freedom of speech onto the platform, because I was censored. And I don't like that. And a lot of my friends' channels got taken down. And I think that was bullshit. You know, they were exercising their thoughts. that are coming from their mind that they're generating within their brain matter, and you just silence them. And like me, you silenced me, but guess what? You never took away my channel. Good luck with that, motherfuckers. Like, I feel like if Elon wants to get on my side, hire me the best attorneys in the world and let me sue fucking YouTube and Google. And I'll make it like a class action lawsuit because everybody could jump in and get a piece of it. And trust me, it's not going to just be $5. It's not going to be a coupon to Subway. Nope. Nope. Those motherfuckers got trillions and trillions of dollars. But they'll rather kill me than pay me. It's a lot easier, at least for them. That's why a lot of people disappear. They don't just disappear because, no. They disappear because people like me, they don't live long here because we speak our minds and they don't like that. The 1% truly don't like that. They don't like when you speak your mind. They don't like the truth. They like a lot of people that like Charlie Kirk, example, he definitely was a chosen one. He was going to be the greatest, one of the, like, probably better than Trump, because he was so educated, so advanced, and they executed him pretty much. He got assassinated and he's gone, and that was one mind you truly want to protect, and they failed him. Because if that was the case, he would have had proper security. He would have had a flimsy, weak ass security that didn't even properly vet the whole campus pretty much. They didn't learn from the Trump attempt of assassination, like the attempt. Thank God that Trump moved his head. Because then he wouldn't have been here. Imagine Kamala Harris right now as president. Like, take a second and just think about that. While I see if there's any breaking anything coming up. Let me see if there's just anything. Now we're just gonna go ahead and yeah, actually we do. Melody King came out with a video I want to see because I really like her videos. So let's set it up and then we'll finish off the show with a couple of Tyson De La Cruz. So let me just set this up. Give me a second. It's not going to take me long. And let's check out Melody King. Let's put up the volume first.
Breaking. The Trump FBI just seized 2020 election ballots in the Fulton County, Georgia elections office as part of a judicial approved raid. Potentially fraudulent 2020 election ballots are now in the custody of the FBI. Let me play this for you if you guys haven't seen it yet, and then I have some more to show you. Because if you don't know, in 2024, I actually combed over the Georgia election independent audit. Okay. It was an independent audit of the Georgia election. About 88 pages. I combed through it during a live. I was never into the election fraud thing. I wasn't paying attention, but it was seeing all the fraud and the things that I knew Fannie Willis.
I knew something bad happened.
Nathan Wade.
I'm gonna put that video
It was just
up.
a mess. And as I combed through and started looking at it, guys,
I gotta find it.
it was insane the amount of fraud that we are talking about that happened. Like an insane amount. And I had no bias because I was just trying to uncover and unpack these things. If you have never seen that independent audit or heard some of the testimony that came out that was completely ignored about what was happening, I mean, guys, we are talking about thousands of dead people, them taking ballots out of the ballot box. And I mean, it was just, they didn't even follow procedure. It was It was so bad. I was actually really for a while excited that they were going to do something and figure out all this fraud, because if it's happening in Fulton County, it's happening all over the country. Obviously, we know that. Have we ever had a real election? As we know, leaders, our presidents, they are picked, okay? They are selected, not elected. That is my personal belief. But at the same time, with all of these things being uncovered, I think it's important to follow up with it.
Going inside of the election facility. Our photographer was able to go inside. He was let inside and allowed to be up and close. As you can see, this is interesting because one of the questions we did ask Larry was if agents were restricting his access or asking him to back up at all. And he said that so far they've been allowing reporters to get up close to the situation.
Outside if you want to take that.
Yeah. Okay, so now agents are asking them to back up.
Actually, you shouldn't even be in this area, but
Hey, you know what? I don't have a key, so there you go.
Okay.
Okay, so agents are asking them to back up, saying our crew should not be in this area. So this is something we're going to continue to monitor. And as our photojournalist gathers more information and reporter Larry Sproul gathers more information, we're going to be able to hopefully get that information for you. Right now, he's
in Georgia, where they are conducting a search.
This is
David
in
Sparks got
Georgia.
more details for us on this developing story. David?
Hi, Sandra. This is a satellite office for the Fulton County Elections Office. The FBI Atlanta press office confirming this, not giving many details, saying that the FBI is executing a court-authorized law enforcement action. No other details at this time, but we do know via sources a judge signed off on this warrant, allowing these agents, as you see them, enter this building to take items from the inside. Now, we're told that this is a sealed matter before the court, meaning details
Damn, they
are
taking
now
tools
limited.
inside.
Agents are looking at documents, phones, computers.
Wow.
We're told via multiple sources this is related to the 2020 presidential election. Now, we don't know specifically what agents are taking to the FBI lab, items that may eventually become part of a federal case. You may remember President Trump was charged in Fulton County with trying to overturn the 2020 election results. That's Brad
Wow, he's going to
Raffensperger right
find the
there.
truth.
He is the Secretary of State of Georgia. That is the Fulton County District Attorney, Fonnie Willis. Now, Raffensperger spoke to President Trump back in early 2021, and Trump said that he wanted to find some 11,000 votes to help win the election. Raffensperger said that he felt pressure from Trump. Willis then took Donald Trump to trial. That didn't happen. In 2023, she said that her prosecution was all buttoned up, ready to go, but it was completely derailed after it was revealed she had an intimate relationship with the top prosecutor on her team.
I'm telling you, I live in the upside
Late
down.
last year, a judge dismissed the case in its entirety. It's important to point out, Sandra, that a judge typically would not just sign off on a warrant so the FBI could go on what's known as a fishing expedition. It's likely the FBI and DOJ presented some credible evidence to the judge for the judge to go ahead and give the green light. No immediate comment from the Justice Department. Again, the FBI
I want your
confirming
hot
this
dog.
authorized search warrant. We are waiting to see if perhaps Director Kash Patel, Attorney General Pam Bondi, or even Secretary Raffensperger, or perhaps Governor Brian Kemp
Here's my
have
hot
anything
dog.
to say.
And with that, look at this. So this is Fulton County Commissioner Dana Barrett, who is running for Georgia's Secretary of State. So to replace Brad Raffensperger, which Brad Raffensperger, the guy, I mean, after that audit, he has no shame. I mean, in my opinion, outright lies about so many things. But again, most people didn't look at this audit. Most people didn't
Accountability.
listen
We need some
to
accountability. I'm telling you.
any of the testimony. Most people didn't go through all of it. So everything just happened as business as usual. So
Many
we'll see
frauds.
what happens with this. But anyway, she is running for Georgia's Secretary of State. And what we uncovered in Fulton County, she's calling it MAGA conspiracy theories.
What?
Now we're going
You're
to continue
stupid.
in a minute, but I want to show you. I have updated my store, realmelanieking.com. I haven't talked about it in months, but
I know it's been a while, girl.
I
Oh,
have
I
some
like that
great
shirt.
new
Jesus.
items
King.
I have the Jesus is King.
I know you went straight for
line.
that
I
one.
have God, Family, and Country mugs, the Hope T-shirt.
Yeah, you make me want to scroll
Faith
my
over
freaking
fear.
mouse,
A lot of these
girl.
are double-sided. Cast your cares on the Lord. Sorry, I have a screen over
Ooh,
here.
I like that
I have
hoodie.
some more of my Jesus is King
That hoodie's
merch.
nice.
And it says normal is not returning, but Jesus is.
Wow.
Okay. So you see all over,
I like
I've
to.
really
She's
been
very
trying
faithful,
to
you know.
really things that I know will give, help
The
me
daily
with my
Bible
faith, just
affirmations.
be a
Yeah,
witness,
she's
especially in these end
definitely
days
very
of what we're doing
religious.
on, just the
That's what I like
encouragement that
about
we
her.
need. But even I have Bible verse affirmation mugs, Bible verses on them, and I have a whole lot more coming. Of course, my facts don't care about your feelings, and of course, my redacted,
I like the redacted
okay,
shirt.
my redacted, that was my original shirt. That's a redacted government document that says, trust the government.
Yo,
Everything
she's
is fine. Trust
funny.
the government. The AR-15 one, but there's a lot for you to check out. The link to my store, realmelanieking.com,
Yeah,
will
go
be
to
in
her
the description
channel.
box.
Check out her
And
site.
yeah, it really helps support what we're doing
I
here.
like that
I've been
Jesus
getting
is
shadow
King.
banned and everything else ever since I started talking about certain things.
I like the hoodie though.
Makes me wonder why. But all right, let's get back to it.
What you're doing is extremely dangerous.
We live in hell. That's what we've been living in.
It's not a conspiracy theory. Do you have $45? I'm not undermining. I'm not saying people are voting there. Ma'am, I'm not saying that people are voting there. I'm not saying people are voting there. I'm saying people are currently registered to vote there. We went around Fulton County the last few weeks and we see that people are currently registered to vote in places like empty lots, homeless shelters that closed 10 years ago. What would you do if you become Secretary of State to address that?
I'm going to reply to conspiracy theories.
It's not conspiracy. It's a current. You can currently go on the voter rolls, purchase them for $45, and go there with us. We will gladly take you if you want to go to. I appreciate what you're saying. I'm not going to respond to conspiracy theories. How is that a conspiracy theory? It's an active voter rolls. If you're going to be running for Secretary of State, you're in charge of maintaining the voter rolls. Don't you care about if people are registered to vote from empty lots?
Questions. I appreciate it. I've got to.
Do you think it's a conspiracy theory that people are registered to vote from empty lots, though? Well, I have the ability to go wherever I want to. People are currently registered to vote in empty lots, Commissioner. And if you're going to run for Secretary of State, aren't you going to at least take a look at that?
You can ask me
$45 to purchase the voter rolls. You can do that as well for the Fulton County.
Yeah, I'm
you can see that
turning
people
away
are
from
registered
him.
to vote from
Oh, this
empty
looks
lots.
bad.
They're registered to vote at a MARTA bus station. Are you not going to do anything about that? You're just going to call that conspiracy theories again? We have exact addresses that you can go to right now. 205 Elm Street Northwest. It's an empty lot. You can go there right now and see it for yourself. Do you not care about that?
Damn.
You're an elected official and you don't want to address that?
Damn. He's giving him the Karen shoulder. Damn.
Commissioner, if you're going to be running for Secretary of State, and that involves maintaining clean voter rolls in one of the most important counties, I would say, in the United States.
I think what you're doing is extremely dangerous.
Why is it dangerous?
Because you're spreading conspiracy theories.
It's not a conspiracy theory. Do you have $45? I'm not undermining. I'm not saying people are voting there. Ma'am, I'm not saying that people are voting there. I'm not saying people are voting there. I'm saying people are currently registered to vote there.
What the fuck?
Jason,
No,
right? People are currently registered to vote there. We're not saying people. We're not saying people are voting there, Commissioner. We're saying clean the rolls.
Wow.
Jason, so she said that it's a conspiracy theory. Let me actually.
Now, if you did not see this story or you weren't able to catch it, look at this. In December, okay, Fulton County, they admitted, we don't dispute the 315,000 votes lacking poll worker signatures were counted in 2020. That is just the tip of the iceberg, like I said, with the report that I've gone over.
Yo, Trump deserved
I
a
was
third
shocked.
term.
It says earlier this
I'm
month,
sorry.
Fulton County
He should have been
admitted
president
that
the
approximately
last 4 years.
315,000 early votes from the 2020 election
No,
were
Trump deserves
illegally
third term.
certified, but were
Fuck that.
nonetheless still included in the final
That's
result
bullshit.
of that
I felt
election.
when
The
they did
admission
this.
came during
I
a
did a
December 9th
show.
hearing before the Georgia State
gotta
Election
upload it.
Board, stemming from a challenge filed by David Cross, a local election integrity activist. Cross filed a challenge with the SCB in March of
YouTube.
2022. Cross alleged
You gotta check
that
him in the
Fulton
studio.
County violated Georgia election rules in the handling of advanced voting ahead of the November 2020 election, counting hundreds of thousands of votes, even though polling workers failed to sign off on the vote tabulation tapes critical to the certification process. So that is what is coming out of this. But also, that's wild, right? Just that number, because Biden won by just a little bit over 11,000 votes in the state. 11,000. Okay. So this is a huge number when you see that. Like, what are they going to do if the election was actually so? Guys, they said we're not going to vote anymore. They said Trump is going to get a third term. Is this how they're doing it? Where they go back, uncertify that election because it's so much fraud found, and then he's given another presidency because there was fraud. This is where they're saying in wartime you can't have an election. There's some complications around that, but I would have to investigate that further because I've been wondering how they're going to do it, and they're pretty sure they are actually now talking about Trump having a fourth term. I don't know how that will be possible. I believe Jesus Christ will be returning before that. But let me show you this one. Okay, so this was back in December as well. It says, bombshell, the Trump DOJ just sued Fulton County, Georgia to seize all 2020 ballots and records. So this is when they actually sued to get these things. I'll just show you this short clip.
Tonight, the Justice Department is now suing Fulton County to get access to ballots from the 2020 election. It is the latest move in a long dispute between President Donald Trump and Georgia election officials. Trump still claims widespread fraud impacted the 2020 election, but multiple recounts in Fulton County confirmed President Joe Biden's narrow win. The DOJ is now asking a federal judge to intervene after the state elections board said Fulton County refused to comply with a subpoena seeking election materials. Those include all used and void ballots, signature envelopes, and digital files. The county says ballots are sealed and require a court order to be released. We asked Fulton County election officials for comment. They said they do not comment on pending lawsuits. Well, tonight, the Justice Department is now.
Well, looks like we know what actually happened, guys. But leave a comment below. Do you think this is somehow going to lead to Trump getting a third term if they can find that fraud? Because if it's fraud in one county, guys, it's been fraud everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every single election. And again, I have, if you want to put the tinfoil on me, right? I have no proof of this, but I just feel as though, and I believe the evidence and things I've seen that presidents are selected, not elected. And I can go way down a rabbit hole with you, like to the point where we're not going to say it here. We're not going to say it here. Just leave a comment. Do you think that this can lead to a third term, potentially giving it back? Because again, like I said, if it's fraud in just one county, it's all over. That will overturn the whole state. That will flip the election immediately. What do you do in a case like this? I see this going all the way to the Supreme Court. And pretty fast once they come, because they only need to prove it in one county, in one state, and that will be enough to overturn everything.
I know how to do it.
There could be enough to pause all elections until the integrity of the election system can be verified.
No, you got to do that.
Have you thought about that? We've got to dig through the weeds. Like I said, leave a comment, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you on the next one.
All right, let's keep it moving.
I'll protect the rights of every single New Yorker.
America, New York City's new mayor, Zohran Mamdani, is out here saying that he's going to protect New Yorkers from ICE. He's talking tough for the cameras because he knows this is what his progressive base wants to hear.
I am in support of abolishing ICE, and I'll tell you why. Because
he can file lawsuits, he can hold press conferences, he can make city policies, but he can't physically stop ICE from doing anything. No mayor can.
We are going to uphold our sanctuary city policies. We are going to adhere to them. That we are not here to assist ICE agents in their work.
When there's a conflict between federal and city policy,
He should be
federal law
removed as
wins
mayor. You know
every
that?
single time. Mamdani knows it. but
That's
he's got to
un-American.
pretend he has the power
He's
because
not an
that's what his
American.
voters want to hear. And we're seeing the exact same playbook in Minneapolis,
Very
where Tim
un-American,
Walz
man.
and Jacob Frey are doing the same exact thing, talking tough while $9 billion of taxpayer money's missing. What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Let me explain something that every single one of these Democrat mayors knows, but obviously they won't admit it. The supremacy clause of the Constitution. It says that federal law is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any conflicting state or local laws.
Our sanctuary city policies allow the city to work with the federal administration if anyone has been convicted of more than 170 serious crimes. What we are talking about is the concern for so many New Yorkers whose only crime seems to be being here in New York City.
So Mamdani can create, quote unquote, all the sanctuary policies that he wants. He can tell NYPD not to cooperate with ICE. He can instruct city employees to refuse to help federal agents, but he cannot stop ICE from operating in New York City.
We're seeing a government agency that is supposed to be enforcing some kind of immigration law, but instead what it's doing is terrorizing people, no matter their immigration status, no matter the facts of the law.
Mamdani says ICE is terrorizing people, no matter their immigration status. But here's what he's really saying. I don't want ICE arresting any illegal immigrants in my city, even the ones that commit crimes. Now let's talk about the warrant game that Mamdani and other Democrat mayors are playing. They keep saying ICE needs to show judicial warrants to enter private property, but they are being deliberately misleading about what that actually means.
ICE cannot enter into private spaces like your home, school, or a private area of your workplace without a judicial warrant signed by a judge. That looks like this.
Now, here's the truth that some of you guys might not know or quite understand. There are two types of warrants. Administrative warrants that are issued by ICE itself to arrest people who have final deportation orders. The second is judicial warrants, those that are signed by a judge and allowed entry into private property.
Sometimes ICE will show you paperwork that looks like this and tell you that they have the right to arrest you. That is false. ICE is legally allowed to lie to you.
Mamdani is telling people that ICE agents will lie to them about having a warrant. But what he's not telling you is that ICE doesn't need a judicial warrant to arrest somebody in a public place. They only need a judicial warrant to enter private property without particular consent. That includes consent of the person answering the door. So when ICE shows up on Canal Street, a public street, and arrests illegal immigrants who have deportation orders, they're operating 100% within the law. And obviously Mamdani knows this, but he's telling the immigrants to stand up to ICE anyways. Every single Democrat mayor is going to talk tough like they have some kind of power to stop ICE.
There is increased tension here on the ground as well between ICE and New York City officials here. Of course, New York City is a sanctuary city.
But here's what's really happening. These mayors are performing for their progressive base. They're pandering to their voter base. And they know they can't actually stop ICE, but they need to look and have the appearance like they're actually fighting for something, fighting for you who voted for them.
The news coming out of Minneapolis is horrific. And we know that when ICE agents attack immigrants, they attack every single one of us across this country. And this is a city and will always be a city that stands up for immigrants across the 5 boroughs.
Mamdani immediately jumped on the Minneapolis shooting to push his particular narrative. He called it horrific and said New York will always stand up for immigrants.
DHS says Preddy had a 9mm semi-automatic handgun on him and 2 full magazines.
The Minneapolis situation is exactly what happens when Democrat mayors and Democrat politicians tell people to resist ICE. They create environments where people think that they can, quote unquote, fight back against federal law enforcement. And when somebody gets hurt or unalive, they blame the agents instead of the person who chose to resist. And speaking about Minneapolis, let's talk about what Tim Walz and Jacob Frey are really trying to distract you from. Minnesota is the fraud capital, officially stamped and sealed, of the United States of America. $9 billion in missing taxpayer funds. Amy Bach is sitting in prison, naming names.
Unfortunately, here in Minnesota, we have a lot of targets. I think right now we're sitting on over 60,000 cases that have final orders of removal.
Minnesota has 60,000 cases with final orders of removal. That means 60,000 people went through immigration court, lost their cases, and they were ordered deportation. But they're still miraculously and amazingly still in Minnesota. because Walz and Frey won't cooperate with ICE.
One of the things we've asked Governor Walz for and Mayor Frey is to give us just the criminals you have in jail. They've released 490 murderers and rapists and drug traffickers onto their streets.
Secretary Kristi Noem revealed that Walz and Frey had 490 violent criminals in custody. We're talking about murderers, rapists, drug traffickers, and instead of handing them over, they released them into Minnesota streets. But sure, absolutely sure, perfect. Let's protest ICE for trying to arrest these people. And I personally have never, ever seen in my entire life people wanting to be seen or be part of some type of resistance more than I see white liberals today. These people are so desperate to be part of a particular movement, even if it means defending criminals. And obviously, we've been tracking the money. We are finding out more and more that these are coordinated attacks, coordinated protests funded by left-wing extremists. And if you want to see evidence of that, check out the entire breakdown that we did at the beginning of the series. You can check out that video somewhere above or in the description down below.
That protest at a St. Paul church on Sunday, during which several dozen protesters disrupted the service, screaming at members of the congregation and screaming anti-ICE slogans.
The same people who stormed the church in St. Paul are now protesting the Minneapolis shooting. The same organizers, the same funding sources, the same professional protesters who fly state from state to disrupt communities.
I have made it clear to everyone within my city government, and that extends to NYPD, that we are going to uphold our sanctuary city policies.
Mamdani is instructing NYPD not to cooperate with ICE. But here's the big problem. When you tell local police not to help federal agents, you are creating an environment where criminals feel entitled and emboldened to resist arrest. You're putting both the officers, the suspects, the community, everybody in danger. I truly have some serious questions about what the heck is happening? Why in the flying crap are people protesting for criminals? Why are they protesting for people who broke our laws to get into this country? Why are people protesting for people who are stealing from you?
But if we look to the First Amendment, right, I think that the right, it doesn't read the right to protest, right? It's the right to peacefully assemble. And when we're out there, we have no problem with, the public watching what we do, filming what we do, talking to us while we do it. But there is that line, though, when they start to impede and get in situations where, frankly, we don't want them to be.
ICE officials are saying protesters are impeding their operations and creating dangerous situations. And we're seeing that across the board. But Mamdani and other Democrat mayors are encouraging this behavior by telling people to stand up to ICE. The Minneapolis shooting could have been completely avoided if the man just complied with lawful commands. But when you have mayors telling people and brainwashing people that ICE agents are terrorizing communities and that you should resist, you create situations where people think that they can fight back against federal law enforcement. America, Zoran Mamdani is talking tough to protect and pander to his New Yorker base. He's saying that they're going to use every tool to stop federal raids, but he can't. No mayor can. Federal law always beats city policy. Every Democrat mayor is playing the same game. Brandon Mohawk Johnson in Chicago, Jacob Frey in Minneapolis, and now Zoran Mamdani in New York. They talk tough for the cameras, but they're actually powerless to stop federal immigration enforcement. Meanwhile, Minnesota has 60,000 deportation orders that aren't being executed. 490 violent criminals were released in the streets instead of handed over to ICE, and $9 billion in taxpayer funds are completely missing. But instead of demanding accountability for all of that, protesters are defending armed criminals who resist arrest. The coordinated resistance is funded, organized, and designed to create chaos. Don't fall for the distraction. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Great episode there. Mamdani, you're screwed. I don't know what to say, bro, but I am done for the night. I got to get off a little early, but thank you so much for those who stayed and watched. I truly appreciate you guys. Like 3 hours, and I still want to keep going, but I got to get going because I have a early appointment tomorrow, and I'm just tired, But it was a good night, and yeah, Have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'll be back on here tomorrow, probably around 7:30. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. It should be a good day tomorrow. We'll find out. Until then, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.